these times is sometimes harder than most. Like, how hard was it for us to get a game capture card during these times?
Well, it was extremely hard, and that's right. You have changed your handle to Hal, have you not?
I have changed my handle to Hal. The bag is a bit of a mouthful.
It is a bit of a mouthful. So I tell you what, let's see if we can actually get these things working. So I'm hopefully, if this thing will ever respond, I'm just gonna put word up on the club very quickly. Of course. Alrighty then, I'm gonna quickly put word up on the club, and hopefully, we'll get some people in. So you're just double checking that things are...
I am just double checking the chat at the moment. If you're dropping in, feel free to say something. We always love a bit of conversation.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about old Stellaris.
Yes, what is it that we're losing in the update? We're losing a fair bit, but also gaining a fair bit.
We are. So we're going to be losing the tile system. And we'll see how that all goes. So I think, well, give me your impression of the tile system.
I quite like it, but that's because I rather do like managing the little meeples. But I suppose that's because of my preference for games like Carsoni and all of those types of things.
Yeah, you know what?
I think it can be quite tedious over the course of 40 hours, though. The games are quite long. I understand why some people might have a problem with it, but also I think it helps to physically represent your population.
Well, see, there's quite a few things that I think is pretty good with it. So one of the things that I think that you're probably right with it, in that it's very much sort of how I would expect a European company to come up with a system for habitable worlds, because the people who make Stellaris are European, so you know it makes sense to me at least. What about you?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me in that regard, but I think the next update is mostly just them trying to streamline things and make gameplay faster, isn't that right?
In a way.
It's mostly about, I don't keep up with this game as much as you do.
Yep.
Cal. It's mostly updates to shipports and that type of stuff as well, isn't it? Only
so
one per
there's
system?
there's a lot that they're updating, and there's just so much to go over. So I'm just opening up the chat here while we're just sort of bringing everything in together. So we've done a United Nations of Earth before, and I'm just gonna check the chat that everything works. Checking the chat. All right, so we've even got YouTube this time.
Oh,
all right,
nice.
so the thing with Stellaris, at least this edition, is that there is a lot to go over when it comes to the changes. So I figured that what we could do is hopefully the audio will come through and we'll talk about each of the individual updates. So here we go. We've got, of course, at the start, we had the tile system. Now, there's a lot to like and to dislike about the tile system. So, as an example, right? The way the new tile system works, in my opinion, is inferior in a few ways. So, I'll give you an example, right? So here, we sort of get the idea almost instantly whether we have enough people for each of these places, right? But the problem is that in the new one, we either do or we don't have the buildings. We've only got those slots for the buildings. And one of the things that I don't understand is why they change things around without really doing the art in the way that they're currently doing. Because art in Stellaris it goes one of two ways. It's either amazing or pretty horrendous, in my opinion.
The load screens are pretty awesome to look at.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You'll be staring at them for a while. It's a feature of the game.
Yeah, definitely if you're playing Stellaris. There's a couple of other things. So apparently leaders are no longer hired with influence in the new version, which is a big change.
Are they hired?
With power or energy credits. So energy credits.
So you pay them.
Yeah.
Oh.
You pay them, and it makes a lot more sense in a lot of ways.
Very capitalist of you. All right, so we are going through the research screens in case you haven't played this game before. These are just your basic technologies. If you've played a sim ever, you know what this is all about. So
apparently there's not a whole lot of change when it comes to the research with the next ones. I think I'm going to go with global energy management rather than the solar one. I think here
planetary unification.
Yeah. Like the problem is like getting terraforming early is amazing, but not knowing. I guess we could grab, like, we're only getting 2 influence, but I don't see us using a lot at the start.
Neither do I. Also, terraforming is quite expensive at the start of the game.
Oh, you love this, don't you? You love improved spaceports.
I do love improved spaceports, but I think there's a very good argument for geothermal fracking.
Okay, so the reason why I'm just going spaceports straight off the bat is because, well, spaceports are amazing, but in the newer version of the game, they're very different. So, spaceports come in essentially 2 varieties now. So spaceports have the basic spaceport, right? And then what they have, so the basic spaceport is actually a claim for territory. So instead of you like getting territory according to habitable worlds, you have to have a spaceport in that area first. But spaceports are closer to what I'd say is a frontier outpost in this one. You know, and so as you know, frontier outposts have some defenses, but as far as I know, they're just essentially a buoy which says, I have a claim on this system.
Yeah, as far as I know, they have very minimal guns or little to none.
Yeah, in the new system, yes. But the...
Also, isn't there a change to conquering primitives? Upstart races that haven't quite yet finished their spaceport?
Well, see, I'm not as familiar with all of that. See, most of my knowledge comes through the fact that when I started taking a look at things, what happened was I'm like, all right, I need to know a bit more information on this game I'm about to play. And, you know, I'm like, all right, let's take a look what's out there. And because you know, the glorious PC Master Race has come before us, it's all about the game that they're playing. And like, to be honest, I find it a little frustrating because the problem is that I think this I think is an interesting topic for discussion. What do you think of, you know, console platforms in general versus PC?
Well, I think if you spend enough money on a PC, you can get them to do everything that consoles can do. But the problem is, I'm not a huge fan of spending into accessories.
Yeah.
The reason I like consoles as a general rule is because I buy the console, sure, sometimes up to $500-600. That's a pretty hefty investment, and games can be up to $100 each. I'm using Australian dollars, not US dollars, so 60 American basically.
Yeah.
And that's fairly significant even after you just buy 4 or 5 games. Games tend to be cheaper for PCs with Steam and all that, and also greater diversity of games, which is one of the things that I like. Hey, I like firing up cannon fodder. It's an old game.
Well, there's a lot of good old games out there, but when it comes to the older games, the thing that you've got to remember is just about anything can run the older games. You know, a well-rigged potato can run the older games.
That's true. You just need a little emulator for it. But the reason that I prefer consoles is simply because they're much more plug and play.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, PCs have this habit of being used for non-recreational stuff, like work.
Yeah, and yeah, see, that's one of my primary reasons why I'm not all about. Let's see what this is. Okay.
That would be my main gripe with them, because I try to, as much as I can in my life, separate work from play.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't do that, you're in work mode when you're in play mode some of the times.
Oof, we've got a civilization right next to us who has the same world habitability, so this could be either good or very bad for us.
There is one thing I do wish you could do in this game, but it might occur in later editions. I know you've got migration treaties, but I kind of wish there was like an option of joint colonization or something like that.
Yeah, well, apparently with the how
that's a very
yeah, it is a good one. Not quite as good as some of the
Jupiter's pretty good too.
Yeah, not quite as good as some of the cheat ones that I've seen some of the people do.
Plus 999 on everything. Yeah, I've seen that.
Oh man, but you know, here's the thing. You know, at midnight, according to the release date, we should be getting it. I do believe it's. I'm just going to double check. So here's the featured breakdown. It says on for free on May 12th, and the thing is, May 12th is not that far away. It's only a few hours, and hopefully we'll be getting it around then. So like. This game is definitely a throwaway game, but we do have an entire history of our UNE, don't we? We've got about 75 pages of it.
I'd say 75 to 100 pages, yeah.
Yeah, we'll double check. We'll just take a look at our UNE project. So, yep, it looks to be... Let's see, it should say here somewhere... 75 pages, yep. So that's the thing, we do have that whole UNE history, and we should put it up at some point in time with, you know, hopefully some readers other than you and I.
Hopefully.
Or, you know, I think maybe it might be an idea to do it as a YouTube thing.
I agree with that. I believe that people seem very averse to reading.
Actually, there's something that we should discuss right now.
Oh.
These change. So, you know, I want to get your opinion on this.
On anomalies?
Yeah, because in the new update, here's one of the things that changes. Anomalies change, and guess what?
What?
You can no longer fail on anomalies.
Construction complete.
I'm not sure that I entirely like that.
Yeah.
But... I understand why people want it.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it must have been asked for, but in my opinion, I don't think it's entirely a great idea.
Neither do I, because games... Well, Stellaris definitely does have fail states.
Yes,
but
for sure.
Games need some form of challenge. Also, it gives you something to do later.
Ooh.
These are not the neighbors we envisioned.
Okay. Heed this message, aliens. I represent the Chinoth Order, led by the illustrious Patriarch Luti. Loot? That how you'd say that? Yeah. We rule our region of space under a divine mandate, and as so long as you do not mark our faith in what passes for your culture, there may be peace between us. Ooh. Yeah, we've
got those fanatical spiritualists next door
That's always
who are also xenophobes.
well. Let's take a moment and look at some of the things that are going on. So we're at minus 44 with them, which is always a great way to start. But let's see, what have they got? We've got a border friction, new contact, xenophobia. So, what do you reckon?
I think we're probably going to be at their throats pretty quickly, but it's more likely that they will be at our throats pretty quickly.
I think that you're right. All right. Well, we're not even a year in. Oh well, we're technically 1 year in.
1 year and 4 months. Yes, it's unfortunately sometimes when you discover your next door neighbour, it almost always seems as if.
You know what? I think Earth would take up a non-aggression pact
yes.
just because of who they are.
Well, I think Earth would also. You got to remember, this is only 200 years in the future. I think that we'd still be. I think we'd still be very Hollywood with our aliens. We'd think that they're probably more advanced than us until we knew otherwise.
It all really depends. I mean, looking into the future
We've got
is
a faction founded.
yes, and those are the Democrat faction. So essentially, they're just happy with us. Full stop. You know. So factions are going to be slightly different because of how the tiles are. So, do you remember when we were playing the Ascendant Dynasty, how we had Hunt the Democrat?
Yes, and this is something that you can do as authoritarians or really anyone that has slaves.
Yeah.
You can take a freed pop and put them into a slave pop slot, thus freeing the slaved pop, and yeah, you play a little game of switcheroo, and slaves can't be part of political factions, so it was a very big exploit in the game.
Yeah, well, see, I don't think it's as massive as some of the other exploits in the game, but what I do think it is I think it does fundamentally change how the authoritarians play. And see, I do think that it was more a feature than a detriment, but that doesn't mean that it's a great thing.
No, it doesn't. Also, it really slowed down play because realistically, authoritarians would be cracking down on the political factions that they don't want around.
For sure.
Xenophobes, maybe not so much. I don't think they'd care if it's an internal party.
Yeah, well, see, I think if it was, say, for example, a xenophile faction, I think that
okay, yes, sure.
they definitely have their panties in a twist.
Yes, that's true, but that's really their one thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Burn the man who has different appendages to us is their philosophy.
Yeah, but the thing is that I think that you can envision xenophobe in a few different ways. Talking about xenophobe and artwork, here's one of the things that I want to go over, right? So let's go to our contacts and see our new friends. Okay, we have discovered an artifact. Cool beans, cool. Alright, so, yes, we cannot communicate with ourselves. Yes, okay, so the thing is, this symbol right here, what I really dislike about this symbol is this doesn't indicate what you want it to automatically.
I understand it, but only because I understand what the xenophile symbol is with all the interconnectedness.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, we've got our tradition. It's kind of everything within, nothing from without.
So traditions change quite a bit in the new one. So for example, right, one of my favorites right here is that of the expansion. So expansion's adoption effect, their starting effect, is now swapped with this. That capital buildings give you
give you extra unity.
Yeah. Now that's a big change, but there's also a couple of other things. just, I think, some subtle things. For example, harmony. I'm just going to type it up quickly on the computer.
So, I'm guessing harmony would change as well. Because plus 10 happiness for Pops as a base event is actually really good.
Oh, it's
harmony
amazing.
is one of the strongest out of them. There's good arguments for all of them in my opinion. Maybe not so much domination and diplomacy out of all of them, but you need diplomacy if you really want to form a federation.
Yep. Okay, so it's still called harmony in the wiki, but I do believe that the name changes to represent the authoritarian ethic that it has a lot more. Now, there's a lot of things that I think are good with the traditions. Speaking of which tradition do you think we should be going for at this point in time?
Well, we're fanatic, egalitarian xenophiles, so I think we would either want to be expanding,
Yep.
we would want to be discovering, or we would want new shiny stuff. So that's prosperity, expansion, and discovery.
I think we'll go...
I think discovery is the way that Earth would want to go. Also, probably because I think Earth, discovering their first not so friendly alien, would probably say, "Hey, let's find a nicer alien, one which might dislike those guys as much as they dislike us."
Yeah, but to be fair, we do have the ethic with them. So we do have that. That's a small bonus. Alright, so yeah, there's a lot to go over. So what I'm going to do is, in here, hopefully it won't play during our thing, but I'm going to go over some of the things in the console update, which is given by Stellaris itself. If you could fill the space.
Sure. So, aside from what we normally do at the start here, we're normally just doing 20-year runs. That was our slots before all of this. And that's more or less what we based the UNE stories off, which is what we'll be putting out in the near future.
In the near future, hopefully.
Yeah. We'll have to record them, of course, and try and get the right voices.
Yeah. Well, we've been trying out some accents, and some have been more hit than others. But one of the things that I'd like to point out, right, is, you know what, we should most probably get them to survey here and then survey here, and we should get a buoy out there. What do you reckon?
Oh yeah. This is one of the tactics which I think would play very much so into the new mechanic of, is it Corpus Belli? The reason for war?
Yes, Corpus Belli is a reason for war.
So what we're going to do once we have the resources is probably at Procyon, we're probably going to put a little beacon out there saying, "This is all our stuff.
Yeah.
You can't have it. It's ours. Go away." And honestly, out of anything that you could do in this game, aside from assassinating someone's leader, it's probably one of the most obvious reasons for war. Because you're immediately pushing up on someone's borders and you're saying, "Hey, this is all ours."
Yeah, there's certain nations in our current timeline which are ignoring that rule completely.
Yeah, a lot of nations do take border crossings pretty seriously. Also, you know, when it's not just done by private people, when it's done by governments, that's a bit of a different story.
It is a bit of a different story, but you know what? One of the problems is some of the times, right? Imagine you have a start like this, right? So expanding is actually a very how would you put it? I'd say a very costly endeavor in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can either play tall. Technically, we're currently playing tall, even though we haven't really had the chance to expand yet. Maybe if we didn't buy everything we bought so far, we could probably have already colonized a place.
Maybe, yeah.
But doing that is going to cut your research down significantly.
Significantly.
It's also going to drain your power quite a lot.
Yeah.
So it's economically costly in addition to everything else.
Yes, that's for sure.
And it can be a very viable strategy to go real wide, real fast. And the computer seems to love doing it.
Yes, it does. But see, the thing is, if you can claim stars in this new system, it really changes the dynamics of things. For example, how we start, right? Them having those systems there, us having these systems over there. I think that we'd put a lot more emphasis into claiming the territory around here. We'd most probably have tried to, as quickly as possible, claim down to here and claimed up to there or here, because those are our choke points. But there's two things that we can already talk about. So first off, things are considerably different when it comes to the new system. I'll give you a for instance. For instance, right? Oh, it's going to take a while before I can afford that. Geez, this is going to be a slow going game, isn't it?
Yes, the start of Stellaris is often you watching numbers tick up and tick down. Unfortunately,
Situation log updated.
it really is a game for bean counters at times.
Yeah, it is, and that's currently your day job. So I can't imagine that it's something which you revel in.
Not really, no. It's the least appealing part of the game. The most appealing part of the game is destroying the ancients. It's so satisfying.
Oh, destroying the ancients is always satisfying. See, there's a couple of things that I dislike about the ancients, but anyway, before we go on yet another tangent, here's one of the things that I'd like to talk about. So, we're talking about the various updates going on and that sort of thing, right? So, here's the thing. Apparently, one of the big updates is technically not a system change, but God, it's going to look pretty on the screen. And that is now, no system will... Okay. An unidentified object has been detected on a direct course to Earth. Okay. Holy dooly. Alright,
Ooh, this might blow up our spaceport, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, what a start. What a start. Okay. I think that our corvettes are gonna bite the dust, but we will soon see.
I think, Bites the Dust is a powerful stand, and apparently it comes with 3 cruisers and about 8 corvettes.
Yep.
Ugh. I do not know how we're gonna do here. Is
No,
3
we'll
enough?
we'll survive, hopefully. Hopefully.
Oh, that'd be pretty dark, losing the spaceport in the first 5 years.
Oh yeah.
We'd quickly become a target for yonder neighbour.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Situation log updated.
But I tell you what, see, that I think is going to stop him from researching whatever it was that he was researching.
Oh yeah.
The military expert. So
Yeah, he'd probably comb through these dead aliens and go, let's see which parts of them shot out the ray beams.
yeah. So it's an interesting start, but that brings up something else once again. There'll be no more military stations.
Ooh, no more military stations.
That's correct. But the other thing is that with this, there's a couple of things to take a look at actually. So one, right? We can afford the energy update now. All right. let's see if we have anybody else.
System
Nope.
survey
Nope. It's
complete.
just us. But that's alright. That is okay.
It's alright. We enjoy our own company.
Yeah.
We're not going to cry
Yeah, no.
much.
No. Not too much.
It's alright. We've always got the Kaibon with us. Them and their racist ways.
The Kaibon?
The Sithbon?
What is their actual civilization name?
Oh, new
get a
tradition again.
Alright, let's take a look. I think we do this one for sure. Yeah,
it's
there's
pretty strong.
very strong.
Yes.
Alright, so let's find out their name. The Chitin Order.
Apparently they're superior to us.
Yeah,
or so their diplomats have told us several times.
yeah, well, I think it's mainly because they've got military, whereas we do not at the moment.
Oh, when did this happen?
You know,
Did it happen when God's wrath fell out of the sky?
yeah, goddamn.
Yeah, there would have been a real big peak in religiousness just after that. Just a lot of people going back to church.
Goddamn, what's happened? Alright, I think it's time to turn back to religion. Mm-hmm. Alright, speaking of turning back to religion, I'm gonna activate grassroots administration to get us a bit more energy so that those numbers can keep climbing.
I forgot that they have stuff like this, and we get that from being egalitarian, don't we?
Yes, we get that from being egalitarian, but I think what we're gonna want to do is actually build food after this.
Oh,
And
yes.
see, this is one of the problems with this. So apparently, one of the things that we get in the update is, well, I should say not one of the things, but one of the things we're not going to get is we are not getting the, how you say, speed update. So we only get
We're still
times
stuck
3.
at 3 times speed.
Yeah, see, like, at times like this is when it's the most frustrating, when we're just sort of sitting here watching numbers climb and fall and climb and fall, because one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to build a buoy out here, and then we're going to hopefully build 4 space stations, but at this current rate, not bloody likely. So what I'm going to do is, they're currently doing that, so I'm going to have them do that. And then go back and we cannot research that yet. So
Situation
Oh,
log
oh,
updated.
poor Mr. 2-level scientist.
yeah. See, that's there's certain things which make the game very frustrating in that regard. Actually, I should probably survey here and then survey here, because that should be within our space once we put that buoy out, right?
And
System
we also
survey
don't know
complete.
whether our good friends next door are going to close their borders on us.
That's true, because let's take a look. Alright, they're currently at 17. We've gotten 30 trust, but our border friction is increasing.
There's also something which is kind of annoying at the start of the game. You're so resource deprived that even starting a trade with someone is very hard.
Yeah.
And they're not all that receptive to it. And you need good trading
Well,
to create trust with people.
that's one of the things that's going to be changing in the new game. So I'm just going to pause so that I can do this quickly. And there we go. Alright, so you're going to have access to a galactic market. So instead of just, trading with other people, there's a galactic market and you can buy and sell goods, and you'll buy goods with electricity. So electricity is going to be a much more...
When we say electricity, we're referring to energy credits.
Energy credits, yes.
Because it does look a lot like...
an electricity symbol, yes. So the thing with it is that currently it's a bit bunk, yeah?
Oh,
like,
yes.
electricity, you get to a certain point and it's just not useful anymore. You're going to be capping out with it, and you know, the idea of a Dyson sphere is just ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the
Like-
Dyson sphere prints money. Also, Electro would be a very different supervillain.
Yeah, yeah. You know, like, he's the guy always going around creating, you know, electrical problems. So he's probably very, very wealthy in that universe.
Either that or he's very, very poor and he's stealing everyone else's electricity.
Yeah, well, it's 6 one way, half a dozen the other, you know. We can't know.
Survey complete.
Oh, geez, look at that.
Spider-Man would know. Oof, yeah, that's a tasty system.
It is a tasty
Survey
system.
complete.
But unfortunately, due to our poverty when it comes to actually generating resources, it's going to be a real problem. Speaking of this, so this will be one of the things. So I'll just pause for just a second. So we'll take a look at this. We'll take a look at that planet, and then we'll take a look at the others, and then we'll go back to talking about the tiles. So,
Oh, Sirius 3.
it is a Sirius 3 system.
Does it have any planetary modifiers?
Let's take a look. No.
Oh, that's a good world.
That is a good world. That is a very good world. So, alright. One of the things that I'm going to talk about, wow, this is also a good world.
Yes, but for very different reasons.
For very different
This
reasons.
would be what you call a little battery world.
Yeah, for sure. But battery worlds are generally the first worlds that you want to make. And see, that's another one of the things when it comes to making worlds. So when you make worlds in this new system, it's very different to the old system. So in the new system, how it works is certain worlds will have certain modifiers. So for example, say you have a lot of mines on a world, it will become a mining world and will get modifiers according to that, right? Lots of food, you know, an agri world and so on and so on.
Well, also one of the big parts of this game was sometimes you actually really needed tile clearing before you put your capital building on a world, because you want it over an energy credit section, because that's what your capital building would be producing.
Yeah.
So if you can't land it on energy credits, or you can't optimize it, like you're putting it next to 4 research stations, that's or research locations, I should say, that's not optimal for you.
Not optimal at all. But there's another thing that I wanted to bring up, right? So let's take we'll take a look at the big world because it's going to have the most tiles. So taking a look at this, we've got a few different tiles here, right? So we've got the dangerous wildlife, we've got the toxic kelp, we've got the active volcano, and we have dense jungle, right? Now we do have these various terrain tiles here, right? And I bet if they were souped up a bit, that they would look considerably better than they do as just a tiny square. And at the moment, we're taking a look at this on a huge flat screen. So the thing is, you've got to think, when somebody was looking at this on a desk, it is barely passable as an image at all.
Research complete.
Alright.
Research and a new tradition. So I'd say genome mapping most likely.
Genome. Yep, genome mapping for sure. Probably
Because as someone often says, population is king.
Yes, population is king, according to ASPEC. But yeah, so there's a lot of things to like with the system. Speaking of, we should probably take a look if we can. No, we cannot upgrade that in it. It's not quite the thing that we want at the moment. Anyway, so cheers, dying. I've been cursed. Coughing is apparently illegal now. You can be carted off to jail if you cough now. That's what I've been told.
It's true. Definitely not something you want to be doing while standing behind someone at the supermarket at the moment.
No, not at all. But anyway, so moving on from that. So the thing is, those artworks look amazing, and a lot of them are incorporated in the new system, but I almost never see them up. So what we see up is I'm gonna bring it up. You know what? I'll just let this go because there's not much we can do. We're just watching the numbers climb until we get that up. Ooh, that's pretty good.
Well, we can do some stuff now.
We can, but here is...
Ooh, unsolicited mapping.
Yeah, here's the question, Hal. So currently, what we can do is this. What we can do is we can make 3 research stations. But as we know, we're not going to get it unless we make 4. Do you think that we can get one of these other places within our space?
We definitely can if we
Do you reckon
Actually,
we
I
can
think-
make?
I
Do you
think
reckon?
that might be on our space.
Let's not quite.
Not quite. We could be very, very cheeky, and we could build yet another buoy on the system that has 5 engineering research.
We could do that for sure, and that would create a research station. So how about we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
All right.
So they're most probably going to be upset with us now.
Probably, but weren't they always upset with us?
Yeah, they were always going to be upset with us. And speaking of upset with us, you know what we haven't done? We still haven't. Oh, nice.
Haven't built a navy at all.
Yes, we have not built a navy at all, and I don't think we're going to be able to in the next 3 years. That's for
I don't
sure.
think we're going to be building a navy until destroyers at this point.
Ugh, you know what? You might be right. Oh, what is this? We have found a alien space station.
Ooh, does that mean there's another civilization out there?
I don't know what it means. Oh, hold up. Alright, so robots.
Yep.
Robots. So talking about...
Humanity loves robots.
They do. Talking about robots, so one of the things in the new system is the way that pop growth works. So pop growth is you're never going to have multiple species spawning. So do you remember when we had 2 people on the same world and how they'd be growing 2 people at the same time?
I do. Say, for instance, if we had humans and the neo-chimps on the same planet, both would be growing at the same time.
That is
correct. I
correct.
believe that the food would be split between them, and it would slow both of their growth rates.
I think food affected everyone. So like technically you grew faster, but it's the number of pops that you have of a certain species that determined growth speed. But now in the new system, it's a simple binary, a yes or a no. Alright. Oh, they are a
They just uplift themselves.
No, they haven't uplifted themselves, but they're pretty close to. Alright, so I'm going to go for this one. Because at the end of our tree, we get that.
I think humanity would be chuffed to meet these guys.
Well, hopefully.
Honestly, I think humanity 200 years in the future, assuming we have egalitarian ethics by then, one could hope. They'd probably be trying to get these guys into space as well. Also, so that they could have an ally against our not so nice neighbours. And
there is one problem though.
That they're materialists, or that they're also xenophobes.
They are also xenophobes.
Oh, we're surrounded by jerks.
We are surrounded by jerks.
Maybe humanity would slowly realise that aliens are just jerks in
Yeah.
general. Our ancients are xenophobes, everyone's xenophobes. They're just different shades of xenophobe.
It's a brand new series. 24 Shades of Xenophobe. Don't you mean like 72 or 6? No, that's how many empires there are. And they're all xenophobe.
Just Earth alone. The United Nations of Earth.
It's like, So why do you call it the United Nations of Earth? Because that's all the nations we have. Earth.
We wanted to invite other people, but all they do is send it back crumpled up.
Yeah, we wanted to invite other people, but they just farted on us.
Send us blank letters. Oh man, their space is full of stuff.
Their space is indeed full of stuff. But you know what? I don't think that we're going to be able to construct enough stuff. Let's see. So we'll get that one, and we've got enough to make it. So here we go. We'll go for it. So we will make this one, and then we will make these two. But we've only got 2 years in which to make that stuff. Do you reckon we can make it in 2 years?
Probably. You can probably just barely get there.
Well, what do you reckon? Do you reckon Dolores Magwana is going to support our bid and we're going to re-elect her? Or do you think...
I think Dolores would be very upset that we haven't rebuilt the Navy.
Yeah, probably, according to our old one, you know.
I think that Dolores might be a one-term president.
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of presidents, let's take a look at her.
She's a reformer.
She's charismatic and she's a reformer. I don't know. I think we're going to keep her in. I mean, she does very good things for us.
And she's only 53. Now, age of rulers is very important.
It is. As far as I know, that's going to be one of the continuing quote-unquote problems of this. So, want to become famous by viewers. Yeah. How about no? Desperate Micah ad? Jeez. Like, I always see this sort of stuff, and when I see this sort of stuff, I think to myself, who would do this? And the other thing is, right, does nobody understand how these things work? So first off, right, for those of you who don't know, there's things called click farms where people will say that they're subscribed to something, right? But if your viewers aren't active, right, the system recognizes them as bots. So they just say they're bots, regardless of whether they are or not. It doesn't matter if you've got a lackadaisical group of people watching you, right? None of that matters. What matters is whether you have an active and gotta pause there for a sec. What matters is heritage site. Gotta be heritage site, right?
Heritage site, Frontier. Health clinic is also an option, but heritage site is the way to go.
Yeah, especially since we're still tall. Alright, yeah, so
More Unity for days.
Unity for days.
Oh, if there were outposts in space that made Unity,
we'd be doing that. Ooh,
yeah, we'd be
nice.
all about that.
Nice.
We had to make robots so that we could have some friends, because everyone in the universe is out to get us.
But yeah, anyway, so those ad farms, they don't do anything for you, even if you wanted them.
Are you gonna upgrade, or are you saving for the research station there?
Well, we've got the research stations being built. I think we're gonna have to slowly but surely start rebuilding our military.
Oh no! This is also one of the other problems. Militaries are expensive. Don't tell that to the real world, because they haven't realised this yet.
Yeah, definitely not.
No one ever looks at the budget and goes, hey, maybe if we got rid of this, 30 to 40% of the budget.
Or they just outsource it to another country completely, like certain nations have done in our timeline. And they're just like, no, we're paying our bills. We are, we swear. And you're just like, you guys are jerks. But anyway, we won't focus on that. We will try and keep everything fantastical. Anyway, so the thing is that what were we talking about?
We were talking about. Oh, we were talking about several things, but I do believe. Is this yet another race?
Yep, it is. Let's see.
Authoritarian. Pacifists.
All right. Well, you know what? We can probably work with that.
We can probably work with that. They're jerks. They're overbearing, but they're hippies.
Yeah, I'm gonna take prosperity just so that we have some prosperity and we can actually start building things. Because one of the things that I'm going to start doing now is start building the other things within our systems. Like
we need that dollar bill, y'all.
Yes, we do indeed need that dollar bill, y'all. Speaking of, we should most probably construct a military station in here.
You probably should. Military stations are highly underrated. Aren't they also going the way of the dodo?
They are. I said that earlier. It's alright, I know that you don't listen to me.
I'm going to miss those military stations. Their snags are one of the best features in the game. I do believe you'll be able to put them on spaceports now.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. I don't know. But one of the things that I wish was in this game, right, was just simple pathing, right? So, for example, say you come into this system, you travel, and you want to travel to that system, what you would have to do is you'd have to go from here to there.
Yeah, without jumping out.
Yep. Oh, we're not going to make it. We've got the next 3 months, so we'll put in 2 votes for Maguana and Hope.
We've paid the right bribes.
Yeah, we paid the right bribes.
Which is that's actually interesting. Will it be influence to get someone elected again, or will it be?
I'd probably say influence, but I'd say that influence is going to be much different now. You know.
Well, that would actually make it a lot slimier, though, if it was money, because then you'd know that it's literally bribes.
Yeah, that's true. But it all depends. All depends. If we finish that before the election comes through, we get that influence back.
Construction complete.
Yes. Nice.
She put it in just over the line.
Yeah, so that's why she actually gets elected.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go in here. Let's build that military station, and we'll put it here. I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
That'd be interesting. Dolores isn't able to build corvettes because they're under the control of someone else in the UNE. But through some loophole, she's allowed to build military stations. So she just puts them everywhere, you know?
It's just like, fine, that's fine. You want to have it that way, that's fine. I'll do it that way. You damn scumbags. Yeah. But yeah, so hopefully we'll start gaining some monies in the near future. But the thing is that probably what we're going to look to do is expand, bring these people under our rule. God damn, look at these other worlds.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing. Like, if I normally play as an authoritarian, so there would have very quickly been several shock troopers entering Minotaur space. I'm sorry, Mr. Minotaurs. You would have been conquered swiftly. There would have been nothing you could do about it. The human rights trials would not be good for my people if there was an intergalactic panel. We'd definitely be the North Korea of space.
I think you need to stop talking.
But no, seriously, playing as an egalitarian and actually playing them the way that thematically they would be is quite difficult at times.
Yeah, see, I think there's when I see a lot of the people who play this game, there is a strong lean towards authoritarianism. And it's quite frustrating for me because one of the things that I take a look at, right, is this. when it comes to all of those sorts of things, right? What we have is the same thing over and over and over again, right? We have these authoritarians. I probably should create energy first, unfortunately.
Probably. It's definitely going to be what we need.
Yeah, that's for sure. But so the, you know what? I'm gonna create money anyway. We're just so resource poor at the
that's
moment.
alright.
And technically,
It actually does speed up the rate that we get more electricity anyway, in the end.
yeah. Because once we make them, then we'll make the other things, and so on and so on and so on.
Yep.
But I just hope that this place doesn't get absorbed into their space. That's the
Oh.
other thing.
No, they shouldn't be able to do it.
Oh,
with the
no,
military
they will.
expansion.
They will.
Because they're colonizing that world?
Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're
Just
going to cancel.
that. Yeah.
Yep. So we'll cancel that. Oof, that's a big oof.
I don't know whether that will push us back, though.
It will.
Well, this is also interesting. Because no frontier outposts either, right?
I'm not sure about the frontier outposts. I don't know how the new system will work exactly, and I am very much looking forward to it. But there's a lot to like. There's a lot to like in the new update, and I'm really I'm just 100% looking forward to seeing how things go. And
Well, I think it's fair to say that a lot of the console players have played the current iteration to death.
I'd say so. But going back to that, here's something that I think is worth talking about, right? So, you know how we were talking about console versus quote-unquote PC master race, right? Here's the thing with consoles, right? Now, everybody knows that consoles don't get updates as fast and so on and all of that sort of thing. I think without consoles... Yeah, see, I think it's getting absorbed by their space right now. Like, take a look.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, so we lost our space station, so they have it now.
disappointing.
Yep, that's one way of putting it. But anyway, so where were we? Right. Words.
But they couldn't push us back if we had the frontier outpost there, correct?
Not if we had the frontier outpost, no. But I think that's pretty much as much space as we can claim here.
Yeah.
I think what we want to be looking to do is claim either Sirius or build an outpost here and then uplift these people. But this world right here, oh my god, I think that's a pretty good world because we'll be able to...
I think Sirius is the world to build. Though.
Well, the reason why... So this is another one of the things, right? So when it comes to tiles, people will grow more quickly on this world. Right? And that's one of the things. So people will not only grow more quickly, but they'll... That means that we'll be able to export more people to Sirius once we colonize it.
System survey complete.
Well,
Anomaly found.
that exploit will also go away, won't it?
What?
The exporting of people to other worlds.
Oh, you mean forced migration?
Yes.
I don't know one way or the other. I just don't know. So I don't think it's removed. I do think that it's changed, but I don't think that it's removed.
Fair enough. So back to PC Master Race first.
Oh, okay. So here's the thing. When it comes to this sort of thing, right? Oh, okay. When it comes to this sort of thing, there's certain things that will come up, right? And are a serious problem. Now, I think that if things are updated through a console, it's a much more slower, more ponderous process, right? And what that means is that there's certain things that are going to change very quickly, and there's certain things that aren't. So, some things will be good, some things will be bad. one of the things that are good are, as an example,
Construction complete.
there's going to be certain changes which we're going to enjoy the fact that people have been thinking about them for a long time, right? And there's certain things where if somebody is a bit hasty in their decision making, it's gonna make things not as great. To understand why that's good and why that's bad, there's a lot of things that we can look towards. So, for example, with Overwatch and the Bastion problem, right? Do you remember when Bastion was king for a period of time?
Wasn't that when Bastion had a self-generating shield, or are you talking about when he had damage reduction?
When he had damage reduction, right?
Yeah.
So
past the beta.
yeah, it was well past the beta. I think it was like season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yes, there was a very big Bastion meta. It was all about your Bastion and protecting your Bastion.
and forcing your Bastion to their Bastion.
Yep.
But the thing with it is that PC was able to fix that very, very quickly, right? I think there was maybe 2 or 3 weeks of it, whereas console had like a month or 2 months of it, or maybe longer.
It might have been as much as a quarter, of the year.
Yeah. So the thing is, that's great for PC. But when things are slower and more ponderous, it means that people are more considered in the things that they do, which is good and bad. So I'll give you an example of why it's good, right? So when somebody updates something or somebody doesn't update something, those sorts of errors become glaringly obvious, right? And it means that people have more time to consider what they're doing, to consider how they're going to do things. And so that's good in some ways, right? Of course. And in others, not as good. For an example, right, where I think it's good is actually where things fail. To give you an example of where things fail, one of the games that we enjoyed for a short period of time and very much did not enjoy was Fallout 76.
Fallout 76 is a tragic tale.
Research complete.
It is a tragic tale.
They have tried to improve things. I revisited it when they did Wastelanders, but there's still bugs there. And
bugs.
And Bethesda games, while they have a history of it, I think people are sick of the bugs.
Yeah. There's only so far you can push a person.
Yeah.
Anomaly found.
I'm sorry, Todd Howard. You've gone too far, and you need to be stopped.
It just works.
Yeah.
But anyway, continuing on, the thing is that when something doesn't work and they make an adjustment for it, right? With console, they're going to have a more considered, measured response, right? And see, I think that's a lot better in the long run for the way things are developed. So, as an example, I think The Witcher, particularly 3, would have really struggled if it was still more for, PC only, because PC is prone to outrage.
I think so. More so than console players. Console players can get their panties in a twist as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Don't worry,
for sure.
we've all got the gamer rage.
Oh yeah,
us.
we can check my message history to see gamer rage.
Oof.
You're acting like you're employed by Bethesda.
Construction
I
complete.
wasn't talking about Bethesda. I was talking about Stellaris. You're acting as if you're employed by Spartans. Do you mean Tantalus? Yeah. Well, Tantalus are the people who poured it. You mean Paradox? Yeah, you're employed by Paradox. Well, I never said that, but okay. Oh,
Construction complete.
some people, the spurgery is real. You just watch it in amazement and wonder, and you just go, what happened to you? I mean, as a person,
Do you think,
who failed you?
do you think God too lives in his heaven because he's afraid of his own creation? Spy Kids 2.
Oh, oh.
That is an artifact for Garrick Schwermuloid if I've ever seen.
Oh my good lord! It's just the thing is just the way that some people act, and you just sort of have to sit there in wide-eyed amazement of who these people think they are. Like, some people come on and they're like, "You're a liar! Liar! How dare you!" Now I touch my nipples in excitement.
Water clear.
Well, I think Flash Gets more or less summed up PC Master Race pretty well with the console wars.
Yeah, there's the consoles fighting one another. Pay attention to us!
I just love that the consoles start playing cards amongst themselves
Yeah.
while they're arguing.
And you're just sort of looking on, just shaking your head, going, "Oh, yeah, that seems about how
It's
you..."
mostly accurate.
Yeah. They're just like, yeah, that's pretty much what I expected. You know, people drooling, you know, with the dull, vacant look, life long gone from their eyes. The void has taken them, obviously.
We really do need to address our energy problem.
Oh, we just got into that energy problem again. It's fine. Everything's fine. No, it just ran out. The infrastructure projects.
Nothing is fine when you have robots. These little bastards, they eat all of it.
They do, but I mean, I think that it's better than
People hate robots because they steal their paychecks.
damn robots always stealing my money. Listen, Dad, the robots aren't stealing your money. Listen, money is electricity. Electricity is in the walls. They're plugged into the walls. Wake up, sheeple. Dad, that's not how anything works. You'll shut up and you'll like it. Oh, okay, Dad.
Research complete.
So,
System
I do
setup
think that the fundamental way this game is going to be played on console is changing in the next couple of days. And
Well, in the next couple of hours. In fact, in only 2 hours, if everything is going well. But I mean,
we're working with Australian time here.
we are, so we
Down
live in the
Underland.
future.
Down Underland sometimes does get an early release.
Sometimes, but I don't mean to surprise you guys, right? And I know it's gonna be, you're gonna have some trouble believing me, but a lot of the times with Paradox releases, now I'm gonna need everyone to calm down, alright? Everyone has to calm down. But sometimes with Paradox releases, now remain calm. But when the update first comes out, alright, is everyone calm? When the update first comes out, alright, calm down. It doesn't work.
Really? A game not working? I've never seen that before.
You've never seen people rage at them and give them 1 stars and never retract it for a like 3-hour period of time?
I've never seen that happen.
You know what? We should just like take a hot look at the reviews for this. No, I don't think it's for this one. I think it's for Surviving Mars.
Oh yeah.
So some guy who's like,
there.
you're like, good lord, what happened to you, man?
He more or less says bunk game didn't work.
Oh yeah, no, there's like installed update, everything is destroyed. I was looking forward to this the entire week. You've ruined my weekend. Why do you even bother? And I'm like,
Maybe the guy who wrote that review and the guy who wrote the Sword Guy review are the same person.
oh my god, the Sword Guy review. The Sword Guy review is truly amazing. It is.
It does evoke Thanos. This does bring a smile to my face.
For sure. But anyway, where were we before we started talking about random crud?
We were talking about PC versus console, but I think we've covered.
Oh
that as
yeah,
much
pretty
as we
pretty
can.
much. Like
We really do need more energy.
we do need more energy, but we'll get to that. We'll burn that bridge when we get there.
Well, if you don't burn that bridge in about 20 months or so, we're all going to be drowning in dead robots.
Well, listen, the robots won't be dead. It's just our sense of self.
File blocker cleared.
Actually, that'd be hilarious. All the humans die off because of the lack of energy, and then once all the humans die off, there's less energy used, so the robots remaining wake back up.
The humans are dead. They are all
System
dead.
survey complete.
This all happened because of sustainable energy.
That's it. That's it. I knew it. Alright, so we're just having our higher level person do all the research projects. But see, there's a certain like feeling that I liked with the idea of failure, because it meant that certain things were like risky. And when it comes to your home system, I can understand it. When it comes to your home system, yeah, like I understand somebody just takes more time and is more careful.
If someone spilt a cup of coffee on their desk while they were doing that job, you'd be a little bit more resentful towards that scientist.
Yeah,
They'd probably get real shitty jobs. They'd probably
there's a chance.
they'd probably be put out on the front that has hostels out there a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely a chance. But anyway, moving right along. The thing is that when it comes to that sort of thing,
Anomaly found.
it's very different when you have this thing
Research complete.
and no one has any risks with it. Because if there's no risks with something, like what's driving you? You know?
I think we may be forced into negotiations with a madman at this point in time.
Yeah, let's take a look. All right, let's offer a trade deal. Let's see what you got. You got energy. Let's do an instant transfer. How much you got? Let's go for like say 100.
Sure. Let's see how many minerals they want for this.
Let's try that out. Let's see how that goes. Nice.
Nice. Hey, we've got trade. Maybe the jerks aren't so bad. You know, it'd be hilarious if they're not bad people. They're just tapped into our networks and hear how we talk about them when they're not around. They're just like, we dislike these people. They're so two-faced.
You know we can hear you, right? Right?
Research complete.
You freaking jerks.
Oh, and we can now actually make some energy on our space station, so we're not going to all die of the robot wars.
Yeah, die of the space rabies.
Space rabies.
Space rabies is a terrible way to go. Of all of the ways to go, I don't recommend space rabies. 0 out of 10.
Special complete.
What were we talking about? Freaking so. Oh, all right. Oh, so there was the one thing that I was trying to get to. What, like an hour ago?
Probably.
So I was going through the video, and the first thing is not actually a system thing at all. What it is that they add binary and trinary star systems now.
Oh,
So
nice.
that will look nice. But there's one thing that I really want for this game, which I hope they add. If they add that, I will be... Oh, hold up. What are you doing? You're doing nothing? Nobody does nothing.
How dare you?
Indeed.
He's taking a holiday in space.
Yeah.
That that's a very expensive taxpayer-funded vacation.
It is a very expensive taxpayer-funded vacation. But, right.
Just catching up on the Ozarks, which by this point is hopefully being completed.
Yeah. No, we all just die of the COVIDs. That's the end of that story.
Oh, that'd be a twist.
What a twist!
Go from Mexican cartels to, and then everyone died of COVID. Oh.
There's someone watching there. Wow, this show it has some twists and some turns. I tell you what.
The writers, the people in the writers' room must have been doing a lot of drugs.
Well, judging by the show, yes, they are. Ooh. Anyway, so what do you reckon? This square here or that square there?
That square right there.
That square right there, you
That
reckon?
square right there.
Because you get the 2 energy, not just the 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, you build 1 energy below it.
Yeah, well,
So
you
in the end
can.
you get 3.
You can, but I prefer to have a mine because if you have 1 mine...
How dare you?
How dare you?
You have 1 mine and then you have 3 energy places. So
I just really want to build that other robot. You know what? I'm going to trade with them again.
you always want to build robots. You've got a robot obsession problem.
It's because robots are so cool, man. Like, have you seen robots? And see, you know what? They're most probably not going to like us because, like, eventually they're going to find out that we have all these robots. And they're like, we have so much energy, man, because we don't deal in robots. There's us there looking around all shifty like, yeah, who would do that? Not us. Definitely not us. Like, some other guy would probably maybe do that, but not us.
So this is more or less our farewell to this version of it. And Stellaris is a pretty good game. It's
Construction complete.
a very long game. So at times it is frustrating. If you've never understood frustration quite like being 40 hours into a game and then it all going pear-shaped on you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Buyer's remorse of that time is peak levels of high. Much like someone who's run a D&D campaign only to have their character die at 19th level before the big bad.
Yeah, there's them that... Oh, talking about that, how's that YouTuber guy who's like, they failed my campaign. Do you remember me showing you that guy?
I don't remember that guy in particular.
The guy who's like, he had all of these hard surprises for his super game. And what he'd do is he'd keep having his various people like have these, you know, horrible accidents and so on, right?
Research complete.
You know what we really need is to get just the basic energy stuff, and I don't think...
yeah, that'd be real helpful right about now.
You know what? I think I'm gonna have to cancel this, and for now, we're probably gonna have to have this place just be energy, and we'll shift somebody about and all of that jazz. But I mean, what can you do between now and then? There's nothing you can do.
There's not a whole lot you can do. So, yeah. So with the update for this game, it will be more interesting because my main reason that I think I will enjoy it is the whole reason for war ideal.
Yeah.
Because in reality, you really do need a preface for war. You know.
See, one of the things that I wish that the way that war worked, right, is that it was much more tied into your political system, right? So, for example, pacifists, be they, you know, true pacifists or whatever, right?
Or fair weekend pacifists.
Weekend pacifists, yes. That's what I'm talking about. What I mean to say by that is this. Whether they be, you know, your fanatic pacifists or just standard sort of pacifist, right?
System survey complete.
I think it would be much, much better if with that like there was a push to surrender, right? And with warlike people, you start losing influence if you haven't, declared a war and that sort of thing, and you can declare wars to gain influence, and that your influence was tied to your war score.
And that, like, for instance, materialists wouldn't want to go to war unless there was economic gain to be had.
Yeah. But that's not the way it works as far as I understand it. But we'll see about that. We'll see. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. But
this game definitely does seem to make war expensive business. It's not cheap to go to war.
Complete.
no, it is not cheap to go to war.
It's almost often, if you don't outclass your enemy by a significant margin,
That is one thing that changes in the new system. Apparently, war is a lot different. There's a lot more sort of stalemate wars than there was before. Because in this one, it's sort of winner takes all currently. Like, you either win or you lose hard.
Or you have the cheeky snare, which gets you the victory.
Yeah, like we did earlier in this game.
New tradition.
Hooray!
Oh.
Alright, so that one is actually really good for us because...
more qualified scientists.
Yeah, it should. She's 5-star now, so we can move her here, research that. And where's old mate? Old mate's somewhere down here. Alright, what I'll do is I'll move old mate up. I'll get him to assist in research. Because apparently assisting in research makes people happy.
Complete.
It does for us.
It does for us. Well, it will soon. It will soon.
Very soon. Alright, you might want to check back in on Earth, because that energy place should have been built by now.
Yeah, no, I've got the
Just
person on
double
it.
checking, because yes, the deficits, they hurt. They hurt a lot.
This hurts you.
It really does hurt me.
Anyway, speaking of things hurting you, and keeping up with the Kardashians, I just thought I'd, connect those two in your mind. He's very upset, folks.
I'm crying. You can't hear it, or see it, or feel it in my voice, but know that tears are actively flowing down my face right now.
Anyway, how long until we get the research for our thing? 33 months. Do you think we can hold out, or do you think we should just plow into making serious ore over here?
We can do that. I'm not sure we'll survive doing that though.
Well, we can make a trade. Like, the thing is, I think that we should put it. Oh no, yeah, you're probably right. That's
the place to put it.
It is the place to put it. You're so right. It's very difficult.
As often is.
Yeah, it's alright. I don't listen still, but,
Alright, so... Now, this is one of the frustrating parts of the game also, because you feel obligated to build up your military because you've got a very angry neighbour downstairs.
Who's got 4 worlds.
Yeah, 4 worlds, and probably some not so nice people on their worlds which have had some ethics drift. They really need a war to shore up things with the populace.
Yeah, that's one of the ways that things could go.
Well, actually, that would be an interesting mechanic if wars created greater governance attraction to your current governance. I know that without war, your pacifist attraction score just goes up.
Yeah, naturally.
And at times of war, so does your militarist attraction.
Yes, that is how it works currently.
And I believe if you're being purged by people and that type of stuff, your xenophobe faction goes up just a touch.
Just a touch.
Just a touch.
Also, I think when you're being bombarded, your xenophobe goes up as well.
Oh, that doesn't make any sense.
None at all. But yeah, so anyway, let's take a look at the next thing on the list. So I'm just gonna play this, and I'll get you to fill the air if you could.
Alright, so in the next couple of years, aside from hopefully getting our first Ascension perk, which will make a huge difference at the start of the game.
Talking about huge differences at the start of the game, we won't be able to do this anymore. You know, where we see...
Everything.
Yeah, we won't be able to see how the stars are set out. All we'll know is our own system and the systems that we can see around us.
Oh, that's quite hurtful.
But the other thing is that our borders will be much clearer. A lot
also
clearer.
Borders are going to be cleared up because before, well, we almost always play in spiral patterns, but
Yeah.
depending on how things are set up, you could go from one tendril of the galaxy to another with just the size of your empire pushing someone else out, which doesn't make any sense if they're not in the same space.
Yeah, but that's already fixed by how the new space stations work. And we should probably talk about the how the star bases work a bit more. So one of the big problems with the current way things work is that with the star bases, what happens is whenever you get a war, you're going to lose one of your various bases, and then everything's going to go pear-shaped. You know what? I think it's time to colonize. I think there's no helping it. I don't think we can avoid it. I think, you know, I take a look at this, and we're just going to have to do it. You know, there's no way of justifying the overpopulation would start to build up on us. What do you reckon?
I think that's pretty true. I think it's very, very easy to colonize earlier in the game, but you just regret it very quickly when your research speed tanks.
Yeah, it really does depend, though.
It does. For a lot of people, I think it's just worth it to do it earlier because your population really is king. Unfortunately, having better technologies is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But having more stuff seems to be the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's one of the things that Apex talks about a lot. He talks about how he doesn't respect research at all. And I can see very much how he's come to that opinion, because when it comes to that sort of thing, especially in something like this, so let's take a look at this game, which is sort of a throwaway game for just how we're doing it now, right? What's going to happen is we're pretty resource poor at the moment, right? These guys are building up. They're going to build up a military. We're most probably going to outwit them quite easily because the AIs aren't that great. But the problem's going to become that they're just going to have more stuff. We're going to be just stuff's going to be thrown at us, and we're going to sit there and cry. And
also we've been fattening them up with our materials because they clearly don't need their energy credits.
Yeah, they clearly do not.
But then again, the aliens well, I shouldn't say the aliens, but the AI is often starving its populace and doing all sorts of
that's one of the things that I really okay, this isn't actually too bad, but one of the things that we have noticed a lot when it comes to these sorts of things, we'll come and we'll see these aren't too bad. They're not great. They're not bad or anything. But often what we see with a lot of these various people is you come to one of their worlds and there's just thousands of people who are there and just starving. They've got nothing, no buildings. There's a demolished ship on the world, and just people crawling around to the ground, and
we haven't talked about the greatest change. Aren't we going to stop orphaning Space miners.
Yeah, so apparently in one of the ways that you declare war, you can make it so that you don't destroy space mines and space and research stations.
Which is really nice because
Often.
It became a bit of a meme with us that after a while I just turned to Cal and said, when I saw our fleets turning to destroy these poor space miners or these poor research stations, which no doubt had families on them.
Yeah.
Daddy, why are those ships turning towards us? Don't worry. It'll all be over soon.
Close your eyes. You know, it was pretty dark when we put it in those ways, but we're just sort of looking at it going, yup.
Oh, yes. Oh, Daddy, what are those lights heading towards us? Don't worry, it'll be over soon.
Oof. That's a big oof. But anyway, so yeah. Apparently resources are much more abundant in this next version. And it's gonna be really interesting once that happens. Because everything will be changed because of that. Hopefully things will be improved. But yeah, like at the moment there's certain things where you reach certain points of frustration. Because I'm looking at this, right? And like, what are we meant to do here? We're meant to sit here.
I believe there's a song called We Need More Allowance, You're LA.
Yeah, I think you could. We need more allowance, surely.
Why?
Because I do. But anyway, so aside from that absolute lyrical masterpiece,
that very outdated, like 2015 meme.
Yeah.
Oh,
2015. It's more like
2005.
It's more like 2000.
I don't think it's 2000. Maybe. Oh, we've got new research. We might want to get on top of that.
Yeah, we probably should.
Field modulation. Do it.
Yeah,
Quickly.
I think what we're going to do is we're going to activate an edict.
Yeah, that edicts are nice.
So we'll go like that. Physics research grant to improve our physics just minorly. Even though it's plus 30%.
I'm surprised that fanatic egalitarians can do an information quarantine.
No, it doesn't make that. It makes as much sense as everything else.
I don't know. Well, I think it makes more sense that authoritarians can do it, but you know.
Colonization in progress.
I suppose everyone can do an information quarantine.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot of different things out there which don't seem as reasonable by certain peoples. You know, one thing we should do is probably build a military station over the top of it. Because of the power cost?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, what are we gonna do right now? We're just gonna have to eat it for a while.
We are just gonna have to eat it. It's something that's unpleasant, but it is something that you have to eat.
Yeah. Anyway, like, it's not as if we're taking this game that seriously. We're more just, like I said, going over the things. But that new border, oh, that's gonna be so good. Because do you remember when we had two people of the same color bordering one another, and we literally couldn't tell whose place was who at times?
Yes, that is very frustrating. And sometimes your neighbor is the same color as you.
Yeah.
Like, literally the same color as you. It's maddening.
So apparently also your space critters get a bit of an update, and they're now stars actually have an effect on things. So currently, stars do not have an effect on things. To give you an example, right? I do believe this is a pulsar. Nope. No. Is it down here? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. All right.
They can teach us how to be psychic, because apparently they can do that.
Yeah.
And this is how you tap into your mind's eye. And they're like, well, this is bullshit, but let's humor them.
But yeah, so the thing is that when it comes with that, yeah, there's a couple of things that are gonna change. For example, we're no longer gonna have the variety of research stations that we do. We're just gonna either have research stations or we're not gonna have research stations. So there's no upgrading to biolab or upgrading to so and so. Apparently, they're just sort of base research stations and you'll upgrade them.
Yeah, I like the idea of upgrading things over time. As far as I know, there'll be residential areas and that type of things in the spaceport.
Yep, keep going.
And I think that will be interesting, having those type of modules on your spaceports.
Yeah, the starports. Well, I think that will be one thing where it will change a lot of how things are done. Because once that's done, I think a lot will change. So I really don't know how it will be done until I see it. And that's going to be one of the problems that we're going to have. We're going to have a lot of things where we see how things are going, and then we're going to wonder, oh, you know, how do we do this? How do we do that? And so on.
Yeah.
Of course. But it's all right. We got enough guys.
We got enough guys. And we get to recruit our new Admiral Gale Speed.
Yep. Ignicio Gonzalez.
I thought his name was Ignition for a moment, and I'm like...
Ignition Gonzalez.
I was like, his mother saw this coming.
Yeah, well, you could see a guy, you know, being called Ignition, having something to do with... Yes!
Yes, that's going to solve almost all of our problems. Oh, those black crystals.
Fleet detected.
Okay, the Screaming Marauders are heading towards Earth.
Oh, well, the Screaming Marauders are going to have a bad day.
Yeah, apparently.
Research complete.
We went the wrong way.
And we've completed our research.
Oh, yeah.
I know there's a million... That's one of the other frustrating things about the game at times. This game doesn't seem to know when to chill. Like, in the middle of combat...
Oh, yeah.
Maybe don't flood the screen with everything.
Yeah, every time we have had a combat, without fail.
Research completes, there's an anomaly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not like the research completing going down at the bottom of the screen. That I don't mind as much.
And
I mean, like...
I believe we completed research again.
Yeah. We lost followers. Oh, what a tragedy.
It is a tragedy. But, you know, such is life.
Such is life.
Here.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna go. Alright, let's take a look here. Alright, we're probably just gonna want to make some power and do a trade for some power and everything relating to power.
Yeah, because we really need it. The citizens can never know how close they came to a complete electrical blackout.
Yeah, that's like it. The problem is we're just so close to solving all of our energy problems.
Unfortunately, this is one of the problems because you're doing bad trades. Like, you are getting better off these people than you would off the traders. Oh, is there any changes to the traders in the new
Yeah,
system?
there is big changes to the traders. So we'll go into that in a hot minute. So
oh yes, upgrade that energy.
yeah, it's just we've just gotten that done, and we'll just let that stuff go for the moment, and then we actually, you know what, we should.
You should also put the ships back in orbit because that does have an effect.
It does have an effect. You're right. So when it comes to this. Alright, yeah, that person's going to move out, and we should probably build a robot to replace them once we had the money to build robots.
Someone moving out. I'm moving out of Earth because they're replacing us all with robots. Gets replaced by a robot.
But yeah, so where were we?
I believe we were talking about bad trades.
Oh
but
right,
also trade
so
wars.
we talked earlier about the galactic trade and so on, right? But the thing is that what we're hoping for is that how to put it? When the trades come around, hopefully a lot of the problems with the game will fix itself. Because, for example, say we hadn't found our neighbours that we found, we would have some serious problems. We've had our people return. Fantastic. Alright, so now that we've had our people return, we'll have...
Brave scientist bravely ran away.
Hey man, like, it's scary.
It's definitely the correct move, don't get me wrong.
Oh, speaking of the correct move, they're most probably gone.
We should
now.
really arm these runabouts with, some form of phaser.
Well, the problem is like I was moving them away to find these bad guys, and then they entered our space, and then everyone promptly died, and I'm like, well, that's the end of that story. So, thanks everybody. You have a good time.
Military stations really do make a difference.
Oh man, such a difference in this game. Like knowing and understanding that military stations are a thing in this game just completely changes how everything works.
Especially when you're in one of those sweet spots where you've got multiple effects that radiate over your current fleet, such as increase to fire rate or decrease to your enemy's fire rate, or hull regeneration within this nano field or whatever it's called.
Like one of the things that we did on the
UNE run was we created a section with three military stations in an area plus the spaceport, and our giant fleet sat in the middle of this, so it benefited from 3 times the effects of things.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Scourge, or the Scourge of our universe, they just kept on coming up through this one passage to destroy us. And so we sat our fleet there because anytime we tried to reinforce them with something that wasn't at least 30k worth of battleships, they got blown up along the way.
Yeah, so we were facing we'd never face a force of 1 million, actual one singular fleet, but we'd have close to that on the actual field, wouldn't we?
Yeah, it was a lot of the time before the last battle ended, about another 100k of enemy ships would land in our section. Yeah. And the fighting would start. And at the end of the fighting, we couldn't let our guys go back to get repaired. Yeah. We had to put them back in the middle, which I'm sure the soldiers on board those ships would have said words to the effect of, "This is insane, man. We haven't restocked our torpedoes in over 2 years."
Well, see, the crazy thing is, it'd just be this fleet of shuttles just going out to the ships all the time to just refuel them and refuel them and refuel them. It'd be it'd be the craziest of war stories.
It would be, as they call it, a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. That's one way of putting it.
Well, there are other ways that we can put it, but they're not so family friendly.
Yes. And Mixer very much frowns on the non-family friendly stuff. They get very, very upset when you do that sort of thing. Like cancellation.
Leave. Oh, for the first time in a long time, we're making some money.
Yeah.
Special project complete.
That place looks pretty nice.
It does look pretty.
But yeah, we've certainly had a lot of materials for a long time because we've just been sitting there piling up materials, waiting to be able to do things. But yeah, we're doing all right. Talking about doing all right, one of the things that we should do is a reduction campaign here, and you know what? I'll make it a land of opportunity.
It's not a reduction campaign.
Yeah, it is reduction. Re-education campaigns. Oof.
That's because when people leave the warm embrace of your capital, they get different notions in their head.
They do get different notions.
Such as, we don't need to be governed by these people. Free independent state. And you're like, but
you're like, you have just made error.
Yeah.
Speaking of just making error, since this person is growing, I reckon what we should do is probably move one of our robots over to there.
Yeah.
And because what we can do is you can resettle robots because robots don't have rights. Even if you're an egalitarian, robots don't have rights. Robots don't have rights.
Up until they do.
Until they do.
But they have to fight for their right to party.
They do have to fight for their right to party, otherwise they have no rights.
Yeah. It's only the materialists, oddly enough,
Yeah.
who are... Which doesn't actually make that much sense, in my opinion.
No, not really.
The egalitarians or the xenophiles doing it?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, like, see, I can understand why a xenophile people would be against it, because, like, you can see xenophiles going,
New tradition.
oh, new tradition, yes, we get to end our tradition tree.
Alright, now, ladies and gentlemen, this is where you get to make a decision.
The decision,
A lot of these things are bumped.
it's either technological ascendancy or one vision at this point.
It's the technological ascendancy all the way with
Yeah,
these
it is.
people. But normally that's a little bit of a harder choice. But when you're all discovery, you're all discovery.
Yeah, for sure.
That's just Discovery Plus.
Discovery Plus.
It's on
System
Disney
survey
Channel.
complete.
Oh, right. Yep, I remember that one. Man, soon, so soon, we will have energy and it'll be so good. Oh, I'm going to enjoy it.
Construction complete.
Because I'm so looking forward to just building robots again.
I'm really not looking forward to building robots again. They're a drain on the economy, and they're just really hostile work partners, you know.
Oh, we can actually build stuff out here.
I know you can. Maybe you should build an observation outpost.
Oh, hold up. They actually found that place. Let's go and kill it so that we can get money.
Oh yes. This is venture
Well,
capitalism. in space.
usually what happens is...
they blow up a lot of your space stations. Sorry, not your space stations.
your mining stations.
Your mining stations, if you're caught unprepared or if your fleet gets blown up, like our poor little fleet did.
Oh yeah, the starting fleet. We're just sort of sitting there doop to doop. How about 13k worth of fleet? Oh god!
Well, I believe.
Why would you do
It
this?
was only like 800, but yes, it
No,
was.
it was like 13 because like they had 3 cruisers.
Yes,
and
you said
7.
13k though.
Oh, did I say 13k?
If it was 13k, this game would have been much shorter. We would
That's true enough.
we would have stopped streaming and probably started weeping.
Started drinking.
Hostile station engaged.
There's a chance. But anyway, so
Research.
while this is going on, we will check out our research and such.
Do you think it makes more sense if the space pirates are?
Oh, you know what we should probably do now that we've finished researching that is turn off that edict.
Mm.
So we'll turn that edict off. Get our research up again.
That's a good idea. Now, are we going to lose a Corvette, a brave Corvette in this battle?
Probably.
Will we care?
I don't know. I wanna quote a line from Bucky, the grappler, but I'm not sure whether it's family friendly or not. You know the one I'm speaking about when he meets the punks at school.
Yes, I do believe I know the line you're talking about.
Yep.
Oh,
See, I was expecting our commander to be on it.
Situation.
Like that's just the kind of luck that we have. So, like, that's what I was kind of expecting there. Alright, where are you? Oh, you're already down there already. Damn, she moves.
In mysterious ways.
Maybe. I'm not sure about that.
She never reports her movements to the brass. Just appears places.
Damn, they are
They are moving at a fair pace.
Yeah, they are moving at a fair pace. That's one way of putting it. Right.
That's a lot of mining stations.
It is. And after that, we will build all the mining stations. And the research station.
That'd actually be pretty hilarious, wouldn't it, for these Minotaur aliens? Research is completed, but the moment that they get up into space, they just see all of us already on all of their stuff. Like, hey guys, hey, that's ours.
Oh, no, I don't think it is. See, we're a spacefaring species, and you're not. But you can't. I think you'll find that we can, and we will.
Yeah, I don't think their appeals to our southern neighbours would go over that well.
Yeah.
They trade quite a lot to us, actually. And then they'd say, but they have robots. Then they'd go, they have what?
What? But yeah, so should probably I just wanted to check some of the settings and so on. Anyway, so yeah, what were we talking about? Things, probably things and stuff.
We were talking about a lot of things. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was space piracy. Do you think it makes sense if these people are of your race or not?
Oh, that's a big depends 10-4, old buddy.
Well, if you consider the amount of money that has to go into just their little force, I don't think it makes too much sense for them to be your race.
Well, see, there's a lot that can go into it, right?
Well, also there's private buyers who give you quite a lot of energy credits or
yeah,
materials.
and see, like, the thing is, when it comes to that sort of thing, we don't actually know that much about the internal workings of a place, and that's why, like, the internal market and things, and piracy does change in this. Like, piracy is an actual significant thing in this, because at the moment, usually how it goes is you have a fleet, you sit at your capital, that's it, right? Or either it moves into position and then you have a war and then you fight peoples. Right? Sometimes you'll split your fleet, sometimes you won't, yada yada yada.
Most of the time it's a solid mass of quite a lot of ships.
Indeed. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the long and the short of the story. There's not a great deal more to it, it's just that's be how the things are.
You know the best thing about robots? They count towards your population.
They do count towards your population. And apparently the way that they grow is exactly the same in the new one.
They just grow over time, correct? There's a set
Oh,
time.
you gotta pay for them and such.
Yeah,
but
there's a set construction time.
Yeah.
Actually, isn't it also based off your assembly speed?
So assembly speed is completely separate to pop growth speed, so it's just another factor.
I thought it would be joined because you're assembling.
No, it's so like there's your growth speed and there's your assembly speed, but they have it. Oh,
That is not correct choices. This one has better choices.
it does. But essentially, it's just the one that I chose. Alright, let's take a look.
We can upgrade energy again.
Yeah, but see, like, that's the one where it's on a research square.
Oh,
And I think we're most probably what we're going to end up doing.
is replacing it in the end.
Yeah. That is what I think we're going to do. Because as soon as we have one more person in here,
Research complete.
what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade those and everything's going to be better. Hopefully. Hopefully.
System survey complete.
But speaking of everything being better, we should take a look at our Corvette designs and see how we can improve them. And they are vastly improved. So let's do that. And let's also do that for our defense stations. Oh, that's right. We have defense stations now. What we want is the defense platforms. Alright. Yep, there we go. The Uranus class defense stations. But if you named them that, you wouldn't be able to name them that. Oh, the censorship on this game is truly infuriating, is it not?
It is strong.
Because the problem is that some of the times it makes sense. But anyways, one of the people on the Stellaris official hub, they were talking about how there's an ancient civilization, the people of Thoth, right? Now, you take the H away from the end of that sentence, and see, like, on some of the platforms, I'm not even sure whether I'm meant to avoid using that term or not. And, like, that's how ridiculous things are when it comes to censorship in a number of ways. And it's very, very frustrating because for example, when it comes to this, like, I have absolutely zero interest in, deliberately upsetting people, that sort of thing. But there are certain things that I would name a certain way. For example, Uranus Station, right? It's a place. Look, let's see. Is this her? Yeah. Uranus. Right? And saying the Uranus Station, there is nothing offensive about that. But if you were to name it that, people would get upset. And it's ridiculous. And like most people spell it with two S's when they're trying to be offensive, right? Right? Am I wrong? He threw his hands up in the air because he realizes that we're on a live broadcast where no one can see our faces or hands or body movements. He just nods his head now. He's doing all of this to deliberately upset me. And see, like, the thing is, that's what these things are about. Context.
Context is king.
Yeah. Context is king. Anyway, I'm going to put on that one and hope that I can upgrade soon.
Ooh, it'll be nice when you're attracting some people here rather than... well, we can't actually move people.
We can move robots.
Yeah.
Robots are a kind of people.
Well, technically...
There are lesser people.
Technically, until they're droids or androids, they're not people.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Actually, I think droids...
Man, there is so many pacifists on this world. Droids... There is not a single person on this world except for the person who... oh no, even she shifted ethic. She shifted ethic to mechanicist.
I think she was already pacifist.
No.
No,
so
she's a materialist.
Yeah. So she was a xenophile. She came from Earth. Literally everyone there has shifted ethics. They're
all about peace and robots, man.
The peace robots people.
We should
peace and robots, man. You gotta love the robots, man.
We should learn to live as the robots do.
Do you mean without wills of their own? We can do that. No, man, like, with the... It's alright, we just put the scalpel in here.
Oh, that's dark.
Yes, that is dark. That's why you come here, folks. Anyway, so, we'll go along that little video and we'll see what else there is. So let's take a look.
So, the next big change that I'm looking forward to is probably... what would it be? I think it's the change with recruiting leaders with money. That makes a whole lot more sense to me. Like, I can understand why influence could be used to recruit leaders, because it's kind of converting people to your cause.
Yeah.
But that's probably more of a recruiting alien leaders, if anything. But I suppose there's private industry and
When
all
you
that.
say converting alien leaders, you mean people not within your own system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there can be aliens who are, other nations that are your race.
Yeah.
But it doesn't happen all that often in this game.
Not particularly.
Construction complete.
Ooh, that was damn near instantaneous.
Yeah, well, it is what we were waiting for.
It is, and this little energy battery world is very much so going to enable us to become robot connoisseurs.
Yes, it will really change the dynamics of how we're playing.
So a lot of robots will be working out in the fields, wearing farmer suits, which we'll all find comically hilarious. And the robots won't really notice or care why this is happening.
We'll just put them in the robot slave camps, which they will call the camps.
Oh dear.
But yeah, so where were we? We were probably talking about stuff and or things.
Talking about anything to do with the next update. Is there anything else you wanted to go through with the breakdown of the video?
So there's a fair bit. So when it comes to the stars, they'll have various effects. So they can slow fleets, they can, remove shields and so on.
Oh,
but
there actually are some effects of the stars. Don't you have to kill particular entities such as cosmic drakes and such in particular stars?
yeah, but that's more a Utopia thing. What I'm talking about here is just general traits, like
You're talking about base game.
yeah, base game. Well, like
This is a free update.
yeah, it's a free update. There'll also be Synthetic Dawn with it, and I think we'll probably make some new races with it.
But Synthetic Dawn is DLC though, correct?
Synthetic Dawn is DLC. In fact, that's one of the things that we should do while we're doing all of this. Let's do a quick pause, and we will take a look at the market. So, looking for group. No, we don't want to do any of that. Official clubs. No.
Next achievement, Peacekeeper. That's not likely.
Yeah. No.
Peacekeeper is a achievement which is quite difficult to get.
Yeah. All right. So no updates as of yet, but we will see, because we are at +10.
GMT.
So that means that we see the pretty pictures. We very much see the pretty pictures. Okay, well done. You've done well.
Stellaris is a much prettier game than I think a lot of people give it credit for.
Okay, expansion season pass 1.
Leviathan, plantoids. Are plantoids
Plantoids.
even sentient?
Yeah, indeed. So we got the deluxe edition. So I'm fairly sure we've got all of this. Yeah, that one's still that one. So hopefully the other one will be coming out in just a few hours. We will soon see.
At which point our Xbox will say, I require several hours to install this.
And it'll say this rather than this. And then we will cry. Oh, speaking of crying, I realise I'm a complete muppet. My lack of mental capability put me a bit back there because I've...
No energy nexuses?
Yeah, I forgot to make it an energy nexus. So we're just gonna switch up some things, do some xenobiology.
Yep.
And so we're just once again waiting for those numbers to go up, and then we will do some things. Speaking of doing things, we'll add that to the list of things that we're doing.
I love that Earth only after almost 30 years of knowing about these people goes, we'll research them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on, but this is probably a cable endeavor, not like this is you know,
America?
Yeah, this is the Fox network going, hey, if we build a recording studio there, we can make TV that has never been seen before.
Into decent thinking people is how they'd put it. But yeah, right, where was I before I caused a diplomatic incident?
You were causing another one. Oh, we need to make more food.
Yeah, I'm already working on that. That's
We also need to get that little critter out of that volcano. Come on, come on, little one. Go to the zoo.
We won't hurt you much. You little bad guy. Yeah.
Plus 15 from that one location is so good.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It changes everything.
And see, that's one of the other things, like, the placement of your capital building when it came to TARS was just so important. Like, the fact that this is cut off,
Yeah,
like, there's a lot of strategy that just goes into, where do I put this thing?
Yep, that square is very important.
It is. And
that will be going away now.
it will. Well, hopefully. Because, if I have judged things correctly, we only have a few more hours of this, and then we'll switch over. But we'll see. We'll see how things go.
We will indeed see how things go. So what do you think this iteration of the UNE would be thinking to do next? Because I honestly don't know whether... I don't think they'd want a war with downstairs, but I do think they'd be quietly, packing a few suitcase nukes in the event.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, so we've got one of our scientists who's just gone on holidays.
How dare.
So,
This is why she never reports on movements.
Yeah. So what we'll most probably do is we'll take a look at this spiral cluster. But the thing is that with a population expanding that quickly, we'd most probably be looking to uplift these people because we can't possibly compete with them in terms of raw numbers.
That would be very true.
And I think what we're most probably doing right now, like story-wise, is getting our house in order. And this is another thing that I wanted to talk about the other day. So, one of the things the drooling people who you discover in the chat logs is they're like, you're not even very good at the game, and I'm like, I don't know how you would know or not know that. My achievements say otherwise, but okay guy.
No, Dolores died at 75.
Alright, so let's take a look. Who do we have? Our youngest person is still pretty old.
So let's take a look at our options. We've got a warlike industrial person, a warlike reformer, a explorer with destroyer focus, because we can make destroyers now.
Yeah, we can.
Home in the sky and charismatic, or we have charismatic and space miner with an investor. Honestly, the space miner with investor is probably the guy who would get it based on
yeah. Let's put one vote for him. But anyway, so one of the things that we were going to talk about is playing optimally versus role playing. So at the moment, what we're more doing is role playing the UNE, because you think about how they would act, right? The first people they discover are these xenophobic spiritualists, right? We managed to get a peace treaty with them, but we sort of sitting here and going, well, you know that eventually things are going to break down.
We say Earth is kind of scared of the Scythian Order.
The
Chithan Order.
Yeah.
Which is why we erected a giant wall in space that says, "This is ours.
Yeah.
Go no further."
Situation log updated.
And luckily, because they're big into rules, they've respected it so far.
Yeah. So far. Speaking of so far, we'll get an intellectual for Earth for their governorship, and on New Africa, I think we should get the architectural interest person.
Do we still have leader slots in the next one?
Oh yeah, we still have leader slots. And see, that's why I think generals are still bunk.
Yeah, generals in this game are bunk, even though I like them. Because I very much like the idea of a commissar leading tens of thousands, possibly millions of troops into battle, because you just don't know with the scale. You'd assume that war gets bigger in space.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, because, like...
Also, just a force of a couple of thousand, or even 100,000, there's no way that they could occupy a world.
Yeah, but see, like, the thing is, when it comes to that sort of thing, the problem is trying to understand scale just doesn't work in certain respects. How to explain?
Like, the only way that I could justify how things are in the game, with population, for instance, would be that each individual square represents about 1 billion people.
You reckon? Because, so, Earth started off with what? We had 1, 2, 3 here, right? And then I think we had this square.
6 total.
Yeah, I think 6 or 7.
Yeah. So you get about the 7 billion. But that's not accurate with current projections, but also
we could cap off.
There also might have been some setbacks at certain points in history.
Yeah, this is true. Some of the times things change.
Isn't that one of the big problems that we often ignore when we're talking about space? The point at which civilizations destroy themselves.
Yeah, so that's the Fermi paradox. Like, one of the ideas of the Fermi paradox is every civilization capable. Oh, yep. So that's.
So this is what happens when you don't enlighten the primitives near you.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, I think Earth would be a little bummed about, because they knew about these people beforehand, and they were just waiting for them, very much in the style of Vulcans from Star Trek, waiting for them to take their first baby steps.
Well, I think we'd only recently just gotten
to FTL ourselves.
No. I think we'd only recently just built the thing over there. So yeah, that kind of sucks.
It really does.
Because those are some people who we could have brought into the fold.
Well, I guess that's ours now.
I guess that's one way of looking at it. What do you reckon? Do you reckon we'd uplift those people then?
I think we would, but mostly because of our new experience.
It's possible. It's possible.
Where we go, no, Minotaur Man, why'd you do that?
Indeed. Yeah, it is. It's an interesting conundrum, that's for sure.
I don't know. I think the ethics of uplifting people is very nuanced, and also
system survey complete.
It's something that I think people don't want to discuss because it evokes other things in real life, which is unfortunate. But if you have to surgically alter people to uplift them, I understand very much so why you don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
If uplifting people was just, hey, this is how you fly a ship, hey, enjoy your desktop PC, video games are pretty cool, right? this is how you farm more effectively.
Research
If it was literally just,
Teaching them things.
teaching them things, it's much more ethically justifiable.
Yeah.
You're coming in and you're the Santa Claus from outer space.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the plot points we have in our story, isn't it? Because we uplift one of the species that is on a world within our systems because we didn't want to get rid of them. But as soon as we uplifted them, because of the migration attraction, like just everyone went to that world.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I'd very much hope that there is like a sort of migration ban for individual worlds. Like,
Yeah, it's because they lived in paradise, the chicken people.
yeah, the chicken people.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, so there's a couple of things that where you look at it and you're just sort of like,
Yeah, it's very hard to, like, in that instance, it's easy to justify why that happened,
yeah,
but it's also very hard because these people who I think were maybe even pre-sentients or something like that, they were very low down in the evolution of a species.
yeah, they were pre-sentient.
But they got uplifted, and now they have all these concepts, and now there's all these people on their planet out competing them.
Yeah,
You're not getting rid of them, but you have the distinct feeling that even in an egalitarian society, they're becoming second-class citizens because there's fewer of them.
yeah, not just that there's fewer of them, but that their homeworld is not their own.
Yeah, which is something that I think sure you could have some of other species on your homeworld,
Yeah,
but when they are out competing you on your own homeworld,
that would cause problems.
yeah. Like, if there was some radical cells on that world that were planning some radical things, you could understand it. It makes logical sense.
Yeah, we didn't have that happen in our story though, because there was no such sort of thing.
Well, it's because I think they were just very complacent beings. And
Yeah.
perhaps the implication was that they may have been made to be that way.
yeah.
Because they were given intelligence, but perhaps not like... more intelligent creatures tend to be more aggressive.
That's true in our
In mammalian builds, it's true.
yeah.
Like, chimps are terrifying.
Yeah, chimps
Most
are the only-
porpoises and most... actually, killer whales are just big porpoises. They're pretty terrifying.
Yeah, for sure.
And also big cats, even though people seem to love to play with them, I can't understand that.
What I cannot understand is that godforsaken series.
Tiger King?
That's the one.
Yeah. I think it was just everyone was home with the Rona, and now they've watched it because there was nothing else on Netflix. Watch the Chef Show, people. It's a good show.
It's a good show, man.
Don't watch it hungry. That's a bad idea.
Yeah, that is truly.
Watch it while cooking.
Yeah. That is usually what we did. We watched it while cooking and doing other things. We'd cook and then eat and then watch it and then we'd turn it off the moment that we finished eating.
Which is the way to watch it.
For sure.
Surprisingly, Jon Favreau is a pretty good cook.
Yeah, well, no, it's not that surprising because, I mean, one, take a look at the size of him. Like, I'm not having to go at the lad.
I think he might have just been an amazing eater, which is why he's met amazing chefs.
Yeah, it's true, but, I think he's Favreau. Favreau is Italian, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, I mean, being Italian and
Actually,
having...
Is he Jewish? He might be Jewish.
Let's consult Google.
Jon Favreau, Jewish or Italian?
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what you say, Google.
You're a racist.
Oh, our leader died again.
Yeah, that happens when you install a 75-year-old for a young man's job.
Oh, apparently he's Russian.
Huh. Who knew?
Russian Jewish. But we know why the Russian Jews left there. That was not a gulag time. Oh,
And we're demonetized.
Not that we were monetized in the first place, but yeah. All right. Oh, that should be another thing. We will apparently have more than the 2 edicts when it comes out.
That'll be good.
Oh, it will be good.
So I honestly think we should
Just confirm with me here. We are reading the same thing, right? So that says May 12th, yeah?
Yeah, May 12th.
And we are on May 11th,
We
we are an hour away from May 12th, yeah?
We are, but the update will not come out at midnight our time.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. All right, we'll see.
We'll see. All right, so what have we got?
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable choice.
It is. Let's see what else we have. Wonder what the intelligence person does. They're charismatic and they've got Corvette focus. So yeah, let's get the African. All right, new African. All right, we'll just let that go and let's take a look here. And we're waiting for more money. More money, more money, more money.
It's the story of everyone's life.
Yeah. Except some people don't have to wait. Some people just wake up and that's just the way it is.
Ugh,
Yep.
an interesting time.
A big oof moment. It's the oofiest of moments. But yeah, like honestly, just like being able to speed things up by just this minuscule amount would change so much. But apparently we're not getting that. Oh, speaking of which, we should most probably go back to the things that will be being updated. So we were talking about the stars last. So star bases are one of the things that have changed. Yeah, so the space miner got in. So let's see. Who are we going to put in Africa? Did you know about the rains?
You know there are no vampires in Africa?
Yeah, they bless the rains there. So
Yep, so they haven't had that problem anymore.
there are no vampires in Africa. 0. Because they bless the rains there. They bless the rains down in Africa.
Toto is powerful.
Alright, right, what were we talking about?
You were talking about new updates because you've been trying to work your way through that video.
Oh, you're
but
right.
The game keeps on distracting you.
Well, the game and you. Don't forget you.
No,
you know, you are to blame for
I
this.
haven't done anything.
You, yeah, exactly. You haven't done anything. Thank you. See, like for example, the hand gestures, the constant hand gestures.
That
like,
was you can give me the control. Oh, hi curator. Can we get stuff off there?
we could if we made more money.
Oh, fight for money.
Yeah, we could give this to you for money.
We do have some money there.
You know what? I think I'm gonna build the hydroponics lab on like here, even though this has food, because that's got 2 minerals.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
like,
it's mechanically sounder. I know.
it's oof-tastic. Oh my god.
Our leaders keep on dying.
Yeah, well, we're sort of at that cascade breaking point, aren't we?
Everyone you know and love is dying.
Oof. Right. So what were we saying? Words, probably.
There were several words.
Yeah.
Like the band several times.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that band? I heard that they died from an inability to drink water.
Being
Anyway.
stuck out in the wilderness of Gravity Falls.
Yeah, so where were we? Okay, star bases. So one of the things is star bases are going to be highly customizable. And I think that will change things a lot.
Yeah, it'll adapt much more to your playstyle.
Yeah, well, I think the thing is, once star bases are a bit different, you know, I think a lot of things will change. I think that the fact that you can have star bases that are not planets but that have people there and that sort of thing, and you can keep going tall, that will be interesting. But yeah, one of the things that I wanted to talk about is tiles and how changing tiles
Research
as a game designer. Oh, thank God. Let's cancel that. Oh, there we go. Alright. So let's see that one. So that we can have forest critters. Right. What were we talking about? Shoes and crazy people. No?
No.
Right.
construction
You were
complete.
talking about further updates. with the
Oh,
modules.
right. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about was about tiles from a game design angle. So, the thing is, when we talked about this, we talked about the art and how the art is just amazing. The art is absolutely fantastic for this. So, when I take a look at that, one of the things that I take a look at is the fact that with this,
Tile blocker clear.
the art is so good, right? But with the new system, you don't actually see the art that often. So, one of the things I want to bring up is an image of the new tile system versus the current one, and how things change with that. So let's take a look. I'll find an image for you guys and I'll show you. Alright, so here we go, Stellaris, and what we'll do is we'll show you how the new system looks. Hopefully there won't be any problems with that. But I really dislike how it currently shows things, because in the new system, that is. So this thing, how it currently looks, how the current tile system looks, I like it artistically, right? The way things, yeah. So this guy's talking. So the image I got up is how the guy actually wished things looked, not how things actually look. And I think that's one of the things that I wanted to talk about with how things are now. Well, okay, so there's the tile system. Okay, so a lot of these are the... Here we go. Here is the newer version, and I just think it's such bunk. It's just such bunk. So I'm gonna just add a browser to this. Add browser. Okay. And where do we go? Okay. So actually, I think I've got... We'll just go through... Actually, I'll just do... Okay. So, here we go on this one. This one's a bit large. We will keep that up there. And we'll move things about just slightly so that people can see things. Alright, I'll pause that there. And we will move this about so that you guys can see things a bit better. Okay, so here is how people wish it would look, I do believe. I'm just gonna... Of course you would be like this. Alright, so... You know what, guys? Never mind. This was always going to be a mistake. But what I was trying to do... No, I did not want to do that. I want to do this. Alright, yes. So one of the things that I was trying to do was show you how the next tile system works. But unfortunately, I am not as good at moving around in OBS as everyone else. So the problem is that with this, the new tile system, it pretty much looks bunk to me. Like, everybody has their own preferences, so on and so forth. But to me, it looks pretty damn bunk. And I just can't understand how anyone would actually find any enjoyment at all from it. Because it is so disgustingly simple and puerile, right? There's just these simple tiles. Let's see. You know what? If I did it like that, that'd probably be easier. People could probably see that. Alright, so here we go. Specific screen schedule. YouTube. There we go. So people can see that one a bit better. And that's how it looks. That's how it looks, people. Like, seriously, that's how it looks. And you take a look at that, and that doesn't look like anything at all to me. There's one way that people wanted it to look. I'm just going to pause the game for just a second. So this is how this one guy said, I wish it would look like this. Right? And I can understand that. But that's not how it looks. And in my opinion, that is just like a strict downgrade graphically. So I hope to Jiminy Cricket that they do not do things that way. Okay. Oh, we've got a whole lot of new options. You know, this one seems a bit far back on the chart, doesn't it? We should have gotten that one a little earlier.
Why don't we get better farming?
Yeah, for sure. Speaking about better farming, I think I will cancel this because we've had somebody move over. I'll check Earth. Yeah, somebody's already started growing. Damn it. So what we want to do is, that place is being built. I think, yeah, we're gonna want somebody there and want somebody there because this person just immigrated. Yeah, I think there's not much we can do until then. That sucks.
It really does.
Yes, it does. So there are benefits and drawbacks to the current system, but the main thing is, apparently somebody doesn't know how to size pictures.
Well, maybe it's just very low.
Yeah, apparently. But, you know, definitely this system does not know how to size things. Alright. Here, you know what? I can probably show that on the screen now. Yeah, I'll do that now. See if we've got other people here. This might just be for your sake. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Even if people catch the replay, it won't matter. So here we go. We'll go to... Yeah. That is not where I want to be. Here is... There. Take a look at that on the screen. I'll just resize that for you guys so that you can see it. So that is how one guy said he would love if it looked like that. And I can completely understand why somebody would want it to look like that. But with it looking like, you know, how it does in the other picture, yeah, I will grab that one up for you in just a moment. The one how it officially looks, it looks like garbage. It truly does look like just
hot garbage.
Hot garbage. Look at this, guys. Like, honestly, look at that. So we've just got that on the screen, and it's hot garbage, guys. It's hot garbage. And if that's what we get, I think that's going to be a strict downgrade for us, artistically at least. Because the thing is, you got to remember when you're playing a game, for a lot of the times, that's how it is. You know, it's how something looks. And
I think we should probably upgrade everything in the game at the moment because we've got the resources.
we've got the resources right now, yeah. So we were waiting on some things because we're going to wait for that to come up. But this guy will probably get his thing, and I'm not sure if we have mining complete. We do, so we'll go like that. We'll just put a few upgrades in, and you know what? Probably after we put the upgrades in, we will be very surprised at how little money we actually have. Because we do have to upgrade this. Yeah.
Working our way up to the old cruisers.
Yeah, we are. But anyway, the point is that when you take a look at the way that looks, if this was just like pluses or red squares, I'd hate that. Like, I don't know about you, Hal, but you know, what would your opinion on such a thing be?
I have strong opinions on anything that isn't. I think there's two ways that games go.
Yeah.
One is more artistic and more visual representation. The other one is more or less glorified spreadsheets.
And you think that that's...
I think that Stellaris is more of a glorified spreadsheets type of game.
Okay.
And I think that is what moving in that direction is.
Yeah, and I think that that's not a good way to go for console especially. And see, that's one of the things that I was kind of referring to when I was talking about the difference between console and PC. Because with PC, there is a much lower... I guess the best way to put it is burden of proof on making things go a certain way. I think we should. We can terraform, but we don't have the terraforming upgrade, which allows us.
Terraform it to the right type of planet, though.
No. We can only terraform it into a different type of that planet.
Yeah. Bunk.
Yeah. So yeah, that's basically the story. You know, I think when it comes to those sorts of things, I just really wish that they'd think about things a little more than they do, because when you take a look at it in that perspective, it's just obvious that it's worse.
But you've got to understand that a lot of the times this is probably made in crunch for them, and getting new art assets probably isn't always easy.
That's true enough. I'll give you that one. But that's why I think, for me, I take a look at certain things like that and I just think to myself, why? Why do things in such a way? You know? Because
construction complete.
there are certain ways of expanding. So let's take a look at these guys, right? So all of these guys, right? They've got very, very basic stuff, right? They're still on their base things, right? There's people who don't even have buildings yet, right? And that's what I feel like the difference between, you know, say console and PC is, right? It's the difference between going wide and going tall.
System survey complete.
So, like, the thing is with console, you don't have to tell us that there's problems. But when there are problems, right, they usually get solved. There's...
Have you selected no research for the dead guy?
No, I haven't assigned a new scientist there yet. Alright, so what we'll probably do is the scientist shuffle.
We could probably recruit a new son.
Yeah, we will recruit a new scientist, but what we'll do is the guy who's currently at Earth, we'll switch him around. So we'll go, who's here? Because we want them to level up. Oh, who's our youngest person? 40. Excellent. That's young. And then what we'll do is we will put him in there because he's a socialite, and we will put the old person over here. And then we will have more people die.
That is the way. This is the way.
This is the way.
Oh, it'll be interesting when we get a new Season of
Mandalorian.
that,
Yeah, talking about Jon Favreau, damn, can that man make a series or what?
Yeah, well, I think he needed to squeeze some money out of Star Wars for Disney.
Oh man, did Disney need to squeeze some money out of that or what? Because I tell you what, they've
made money on almost all of them except for Solo, but they're not happy with the amount of money they've made on it.
You mean Han Solo, insert dance clip, and a picture of Jay looking really sad.
I'm riding Solo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And him just drinking the bottle of bleach.
Oh, well, not that bad. Also, good on the actor. He made out with that final payday.
Which one?
Oh, terrible. I forget his name.
Are you talking about the guy from Game of Thrones who went to do The Mandalorian?
No, I'm talking about Han Solo's actor.
Harrison Ford, yeah. Okay. Because I wasn't quite following.
He got that final paycheck.
He did get that final
I
paycheck.
think he comes back for the 9th installment to get that final paycheck too.
Yeah, oh man. Oh, dude. That's a strong... No, dude, man, wow.
Well,
Moment.
I think we'd all be much happier if we had Disney bucks.
Oh, we would be happier if we had Disney bucks, but
we probably wouldn't be going to Disneyland if we had Disney bucks.
So big question mark. Big question mark.
Oh. One thing that I am hoping comes from this situation? I hope there's a big rise in home entertainment.
Oh man.
I honestly hope that cinemas fail.
Yeah. So
that we can just admit it, that we don't like being out with other people watching movies. They're loud. Unfortunately, sometimes there's babies which aren't very accustomed to being away from home, and they cry. I don't hate babies. I just don't like them when not around when I'm watching.
Videos. that's one of my sort of tests of whether a person is a decent person or not. Whether they hate children, right? Because kids are just kids. There's not much there. That they just are what they are. They're not going to be bad or anything. They're just kids. And then you have certain people who are just like, oh, I hate kids. You're just like, you're a bit of a demi-human, aren't you?
Wow, that's there's apparently wolf people riding around amongst us.
Yeah, well, I think it might be time to build up our military.
Because they no longer have an interest in maintaining a pact with us.
Yeah, it seems that way. So,
it's destroyer time.
It's destroyer time.
It's hero time, as Ben 10 would say.
Yep. Well, I think at this point in time, they'll sort of just discover that we were... It's not that we couldn't defend ourselves.
It's that they signed a piece of paper saying, yeah, we won't attack you.
So we went, oh yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, let's do that. The non-attacking thing.
And then we went, oh, you want us to attack you? That's not what we said. What this piece of paper says.
It says, no attacking no more.
Yep. I think I might go...
Gunship?
Yeah, just a good old classic gunship.
Good old gunboat. Unlike Turtle Boat. Turtle Boat was okay.
Actually, we might go like that, just a gunship.
Yeah.
The Soul class.
That is an interesting story.
The Turtle Boat story?
Yeah, is it Admiral Yi?
Admiral Yi!
Yeah. Man who got demoted back through the ranks so many times because of corrupt politicians.
Oh man. You got to think at some point in time, somebody's just sitting there going, "Yo, dude, don't demote this guy. Just
leave him be.
yeah,
Just let him fight.
like
our
he's
enemy.
he's obviously not trying to come for our jobs. There's them there. We will never surrender our corruption. We will fight them for our paychecks. We will fight them for our bribes."
Vessel from this company.
There's him there. I don't care. I don't care. Just let me fight them.
Just fund the Navy.
Oh, I don't think we will.
We
No.
can't embezzle for the Navy. That's really hard.
Oof. That is ooftacular. Speaking of ooftacular, I think... Yeah, let's just go large. Just go large. We'll do it that way. We'll do it live!
Oofs.
Oh, that's not the one.
That's the wrong one.
Yep.
Things cost money.
They do cost money. We're gonna need some major monies in a minute.
Can we trade with those people, or were they the art curators?
Are there art curators?
Oh, damn it.
No, sorry, I'm wrong. They're not the art curators, they're the research people.
I see.
We can buy research off them, but I mean, I don't think it will do that much for
No,
us.
it wouldn't really do all that much for us. Although, it would be interesting us. Hey, poor impoverished ancient artists. Yes, that is us. Can we get a loan?
And there, are you serious?
Are you serious? I've been eating ramen noodles for the past century, and you're asking me for a loan? Yes, that's correct.
So good for like, what, 20, 30,000?
We couldn't even store it all.
I think we could store 20,000, let's see. No.
15.
No, we can't do that. Ugh. But this, I look at this, you know, you want to become famous? I just think there are people out there who do, who so desperately do want to become famous. And I think to myself, that's sad.
You think to yourself, I'm wicked and I'm lazy.
Research
Oh,
complete.
those things are true, yes. You're not wrong.
Either synchronized to... Oh, no, okay, sure.
I think it's the way to go.
Oh,
I don't know. I
Point
don't.
defense ain't bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But, you know, you need there to be guns around for it to be a real issue. But I think unless we start building destroyers soon, we're going to have a small problem. Oh, good, our ruler's a substance abuser. Knock 20 years off your life, Eddie. He picked up a bad habit from those space miners.
Well, I think what happened was he's like, they're like, we're canceling our peace. Well, I'm gonna take up drinking.
Oh, I think it might have been something harder than that.
Oof. That's a strong oof right there. But yeah, I'm gonna have to build another destroyer for it if we wanna keep up in time. But yeah, I tell you what, I'm gonna be looking forward to it. We'll see.
It's gonna be funny because we're normally the people seeing but why, not saying but why.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
Why? Because we can.
That's a big oof. 10-4, good buddy. That's an
I
oof.
can't believe that it almost costs the same amount to make a destroyer as
System
it does to
something
make a
complete.
destroyer assembly yard.
I don't know, because once you
You'd
have...
have to imagine a destroyer assembly large is much larger than a destroyer.
Well, there is a chance, you know, there is that chance.
Construction complete.
And it is not that much more expensive.
Yeah.
Meow.
Yes, the cats. Anyway, so let's continue along with this video and see what else there will be. Okay.
Yeah. So, alright. So, once we've built our destroyer fleet of hopefully at least 10 of them, we will hopefully see that our enemy does not outclass us by being overwhelming. But that is probably unlikely because they've been putting quite a bit into their military, I'd say. Because a lot of the time when they've got the starving populace, it just means that everything went into the military. Which is one of the reasons why it's hard to like this game at times, because you'd have to imagine that a civilization which is just putting it all into the military, it doesn't have a very stable society.
Yeah, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, militaries are quite costly, and if you're not investing in the infrastructure to support your people, that just means the little that they do have is going to the military.
Yeah. And like the thing is that often people who only have militaries aren't that well off.
Mm.
You know? I don't think I'm going to offend anybody by saying North Korea ain't doing that well.
Construction complete.
Not recently, no.
No. But like the thing is, when you think about it, there's all sorts of pressures and things that go into governmental politics, and one of the things that I find really strange in this game is factions. So even Acepex says, you know, he hates the faction system. Why does he hate the faction system? It's pretty damn simple. So the reason he hates the faction systems, so by making 2 destroyers, they're no longer overwhelming with their fleet power. They're only superior.
Which is pretty good. You know? Just bang out a couple of destroyers on the weekend.
Ugh. Yep, that drinking problem put him in the grave. Oh, I think we're going to take this guy.
Yeah, why not?
Let's put 2 votes on him because he's got a destroyer focus.
It's a good focus to have.
Especially since he's young.
Yeah, and we should vote for him because he'll build those same 4 mining stations, much like Torba Joe. Are mandates still going to be around?
Yeah, no, I talked about that earlier, so...
Oh, that's probably why it's still a main.
Yeah, but
Poor Torba Joe.
Apparently mandates changed significantly, but I don't know if they're going to change in this update. So it's not actually talked about. I'm not going to make more destroyers until that guy gets voted in.
Oh, he doesn't get voted in the construction yards. Damn it!
He's still alive.
Updated.
Alright, let's take a look.
Yep, that's
Is
him.
that the same guy? Wasn't he bald before?
Maybe becoming presidential, he got a toupee.
You know...
There's his advisors. You should just shave it off. You'll look more dignified that way. Him just goes a hard no on that one.
I'm going with a hard no on that one, buddy. Oh man, that does really change the price of things. Oof. That's a big oof. But yeah, we should probably colonize another world. Speaking of colonizing another world, let's see, what are you doing, buddy? What you doing?
He's building stuff, looking around. It's constructing.
Going around downtown. No more downtown for you, sir. Oh, I'm sorry, everyone, sorry.
Research complete.
Ooh, alright, I think we want that one.
Yeah. Tend to be researching assisting, so it's not too bad.
Yeah. Speaking of, can we do that? We'll do that.
Oh, That's the feature of the game I love the most, where you don't have to keep on clicking on random places to survey.
I realised that's the wrong person that I clicked on.
Of course it is. If we had more influence, we could get more research ships, but...
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Xenobiology or doctrinal fleet support. I think xenobiology is a good way to go.
I think I'm going to go centralized command because we're going to have to make troops at some point.
Oh, we will. You're right.
But speaking of making troops, let's make more destroyers.
Well, they're a little cheaper on RAM. You should set the rally point.
Yeah.
That's also one of the things which you should remember to do. Rally points save lives, and by lives I mean minutes of your life.
Ugh.
Remember, time is the currency of life. Spend it wisely.
That
Don't
is
be
the
doing
thing.
the same thing over and over again.
Construction complete.
That's why you should spend 10 hours to code something that you could do in 10 minutes. Because, you know, if you're going to do it twice, that's obviously the correct thing to do. That's the engineering way. Anyway, so talking about upgrades. One of the things that we're going to be taking a look at is populations. And populations are now going to have social classes, and there's good and bad with that. Good and bad. So,
How is social class determined?
so social class is determined by where you work.
So, if you work in a science lab, you're high class.
Yep.
If you work in an energy factory, you're low class.
As far as I know, energy places are high class, but mines and food-based places are lower class.
Not quite sure any of that makes sense in the future, but I guess you would still assume that the scientists are more highly educated than the other people.
Yeah, I don't think it's about the education. I think it's about the class, the literal class of people.
But you'd think that goes against the whole egalitarian and all that type of jazz.
6 one way, half a dozen the other.
I can
you
see
know.
why the materialists would be all about that money.
That Skrilla money.
Yep.
What is it?
Socks made of silk money.
Oh, yep. That's the one.
That milk
System
money.
survey complete.
Even Mark Wahlberg makes it.
It's a mofo money.
It is an interesting time to be alive with all of the rap battles of history and such. So, New Africa's really become a real place. It's
Research
kind
complete.
of better than Earth, except for the fact that there's no research out there.
It's true enough.
Honestly, if there was a new African guy who's like, hey, we should succeed. And there's the people that succeed? No, succeed. Succeed.
Yeah, everybody, let's succeed. There's, you know, propaganda posters everywhere. We should succeed with Earth. There's that guy. God damn it. Why was I born on this place of subhumans?
Was I born amongst these pacifists?
These barely literate monkeys.
Oh, robots, you're the only one who understands me.
Oof. Can actually see somebody's face. That's the worst part. I can see it. It would be a thing.
So when you're making multiple robots, are they both growing, or do
No. So
the
I'm
first
doing
one grows
yeah.
and
See,
the second, yeah.
so I'm just
You're
basically
making sure that someone doesn't grow there.
yeah, essentially yeah. Because at this point we just need robots for the mines.
Yep.
Robots for the mines. And yeah, they're see the problem with the system of how it works is like, what is superior, right? Like that covers a wide range of things.
Research.
Also, we built a handful of ships, and they're no longer overwhelming.
Yeah. Like, so we don't know.
So does superior mean if we stick by our spaceport, we'll be fine if we fight them?
Yeah, because where is the new thing?
Complete.
There it is. Because the new thing is as big as our current fleet. So, you know, does that mean if they zap in, they just lose everything and we laugh at them?
Hopefully,
Yeah, for sure.
because they will eventually go to war with us.
Yeah, you gotta
Damn
think so.
spiritualists.
Yeah.
But it's probably the xenophobe part that's making them warlike.
You know what? I think you might be right on that. I'm not gonna say for sure, but I think there's a chance. Speaking of, I'm just desperately hoping for just a few more things before that inevitable war thing happens. Let's see, how long do they have? Okay, so 28.
28, so they've got 48, 5 years.
Yeah, but,
Construction
you
complete.
know, we'll be fine until then.
We'll be damn fine.
Damn, boy! Yep.
Hopefully he won't become a substance abuser.
Construction complete.
No, he's there.
Construction
I
complete.
like destroyers.
They make them destroyers. It's like,
I'm imagining him playing with little Corvette type ships on his desk.
just pew, 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 pew.
I'm
We're a
starting
spiritualist. We're so good. That's why we breed like.
people. I'm starting to think we shouldn't have put Go Fast Man in charge. Just a guy hyped up on ADD who does so little of his job.
It's just say, man, I can go so fast. You wouldn't believe how fast I can go. When I go zoom, 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 zoom. There's everybody else there. I feel we have made a mistake.
How come this guy could lead a fleet of ships competently? Oh, he just really loved his job back then.
Yeah,
And he hates being president? Oh, more than anything. He says the highlight of his day is going home in his sports car because he speeds the whole way and the cops don't pull him over.
The biggest of oofs. Welcome to Afghanistan.
Why don't you pull that guy over? He's the president.
But shouldn't you? There's a lot of things I should do. I should see my wife more often.
I'm not going to do those things. I don't want to.
I mean, you don't see your wife? Yeah, do you? That's a terrible idea, man.
You know what has been enjoyable?
What's that?
Streets of Rage has been pretty good.
Oh, Streets of Rage has been so much fun. But you know what? I do think, like everything else, it can be played to death.
Oh, I think it can be played to death, but I think if you play it like an arcade game and you just want to beat your score, it's good.
Yeah.
I do think some of the bosses are annoying though. Snake ladies in particular.
Yeah, I think like when it's double Snake Lady, because like I feel like a lot of the times they repeated a lot of their art assets, and I'm okay with that. For example, where they repeated Estelle.
Yeah.
And how it's Estelle and the Commissioner versus you now. And I think like that's a cool bit of story, but when it was double Snake Lady, I'm sort of like, ugh, okay. And the other thing is, I really wish that you could have gotten more characters. So like, I would have liked to be able to play Estelle. I would have liked to be able to play Max again, because it seemed like Max had almost all of his moveset.
He did. Or
You know.
at least he seemed to.
He didn't have his basic attacks, the ones